Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 398. I'm Chris Adams, Taking Master, joined by
Echo 5.
And Trioptical.
Alright, so yeah, today we've got some What You Been Playing, a middle segment about the fallout, or what have you, of E3, and like, what have you been doing since then? Of just like the hype wave crashing down, and you're just like, oh man, so many games, must pre-order, must not, cannot resist, and you know, whatever happened to you. I know that happened to
Someone
me.
just shot up to attention. Fallout?
Yes.
You gotta be careful with your words here.
And then the news, which there isn't really much of because, like we said, last week was E3, so many games, and it's like, what's left after that? You know, it's like it just comes, and you're just like, woo, the hype train, woo, and it arrives, and you just take off into Fantasyland, and it's just like, woo, and just like, yeah, Tsushima, I'm sorry, Tsushima, I'm sorry, that's just, whew, man, that game, still, I mean, that A, and then like B, the biblical, I would say the biblical recounts of people saying things about the Cyberpunk presentation that I have not seen because it's behind closed doors, and just like, man, I am just like up to the moon on that game right now. It's like, it's just like, but it's like no date, so it's like, who knows, man, 2020, 2021, will it get here before effing, Death Stranding? It's a race now. I mean, obviously Death Stranding has gameplay, so it's like, probably Death Stranding first, but it's like, it'll be the nice dessert, I guess, after the of Death Stranding. So that didn't make any sense. I made a sound out of not a word. I guess meal, delicious meal of Death Stranding. But it'll make you go, and you'll be like, oh, delicious Death Stranding. Okay, sorry. That's okay. Let's get on to it.
How would you print that on a T-shirt? games that make you go.
Wow.
You would do what the comics people do, and then be like, okay, what does this sound like? That's an S and L maybe, and then just kind of just copy and paste it a bunch and be like, yeah, there we go, a perfect onomatopoeia. But let's see, so what we've been playing, well, let me talk about something I've been playing and finishing and haven't been able to talk about on the podcast, I don't think, because we haven't podcasted in a while. But man, Detroit Become Human, that mother effing game is legit. It delivered. It was everything I wanted it to be. It took my breath away, and I was just, so good. And just, Chocolate was right. This is their best Cloud Dream game so far. You know, if effing Heavy Rain is the Mona Lisa, this game is a Sistine Chapel painting where they're just like, we gotta do something on a ceiling because we don't have enough space on a canvas, and they were just like, whoosh, 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 with their magical artistry brushes and just painted it. I gotta say though, I would have enjoyed, like, I do love their little formula of like the intersecting stories, but like if we could have just had like a Connor game and just like you're the detective android, or just like they just needed to do a detective story, dude, and just like that would be like the main thrust of like the game of like you doing cases, and it would just be like like LA Noire, but like LA Noire killer, because it would be so much better. Just that is something I would love to see from them. It's just like you're a detective dude or lady or whatever, just like going through cases, solving cases, and like just a dark and gritty noir detective story. And just I would love that. I would just, if they made a DLC of like just Connor, the Robo Connor, RoboCop Connor, whatever, just doing cases, I could play that for like ever, because man, their stuff is so good. It's like this case is this case is this, and it's like different cases, and it was so good. It's just like, man, like there's so many different cases. Like it's not all murder. There's like, oh, what's happening here? Let's investigate. And just all the scenes, all the like stuff getting clues, and like the CSI stuff. Just man, so good. And then
Did you play it through in one sitting?
I did Tropical. I did not do the thing you said, and I couldn't help myself.
You missed some stuff then.
Whatever. It's not. Was it anything that mattered, Tropical?
How would you miss stuff?
It was
It
really
was like
neat.
this weird lady that like hostess lady when you first start the
You're
game.
gonna give it away?
I'm not gonna say what happens. I'm just saying, like, she's okay, like asking you questions about like setting up like the HUD and like subtitles or whatever the f, and then like something happens later on, like after you finish the game, I guess. I don't know what happens if like something happens later on, I guess, and then it's weird because like I don't know if I get the option again unless I start a new game, but like now she's got it in my game, and like we never had any interaction like Tropical was talking about where like she says things to you about the stuff you've done, but it's like, psh, I didn't need that. It's like that was like a straight shot of like phenomenal masterpiece gameness.
Man, I need to go into my game to see the percentages of like. Because when I played through it, you hadn't played it yet, and I couldn't find anyone. I didn't know who on my list had played it, and so it was just like looking at the things that happened on the tree, like sort of diagram of branching story paths. Like I had ones where no one did the things that I did on my friends list. I was like, well, is that because no one has played to this point, or is it because
You're crazy.
I just did the thing that no one did?
Oh, also, the part Tropical where you talk about you're a terrible person if you did that. You're a terrible person if you did that. So Tropical still a terrible person. Don't trust him in real life.
Which part was that?
The part where like kill this person, not kill this person. Just like the lady in the parking lot in Walking Dead. Remember? Just like that. It's like
It was.
There's a part where like someone's like, oh, they might know something if we keep them here and don't do anything.
No, I didn't. It's not that part.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a different part.
Well, okay, well, if it's that part. It's
Like
fine. It's totally
I
fine
had
because
no
I totally
idea how to
killed
play
someone.
Connor.
Because wait, what?
I had no idea how to play Connor because he was just like something happened early on, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, so that's over. And then it was like, oh, then it wasn't. And then I was like, oh, okay, I have no idea who this machine is personality-wise, and I didn't know like what kind of story I wanted it to be.
Yeah, that was the
for
other
him.
thing. Is like this one. It's kind of like it doesn't feel like completely 100% organic because like you're so influenced by the other two scenarios of like when you get to a part with Connor to like do something. It's like I
Well-
didn't feel like that was completely me making that choice. I was just like, well, this is like the way this is going, and I want this to be this way, and this is the way I feel. Like so, I couldn't detach myself from that and be like, do the thing, Connor. It's like, no, Connor, don't do this. You're
Oh
you're one of
yeah.
us now because I said so.
Oh, I didn't. That part I didn't do that. So we have totally different endings then.
Logical.
I was standing there as I said, like I don't know what to do with this character, and then like time ran out, and it defaulted a certain way, and I was like, oh, okay, and then it was like cool action stuff throughout the end. I was like, oh, that was really cool.
Yeah, because like
But
it's like I want to play. It's like I don't usually play the other games more than once, but it's like this like game is different because I kind of like want to because there's a choice
Yeah.
that you get of like for Marcus where like someone gives you something. It's like we got something for you, dude. It's like we are not using that. And it's like, dude,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see the type of operation we are running around here? That is not okay, lady. And so it's like I want to just play through it again and be like, yes, do it, do it, Anakin.
yeah, it's really weird. Like this one, a lot of the games, Walking Dead, I don't really want to see any of the other options. Like it's cool to talk and hear about them, but then actually playing through it again, it's like, well, no, because like that's not how it went. It's like Prince of Persia. I was like, no, that's not how it went. It went like this, and it's like, in my mind, the first playthrough, that's how it went. But with Detroit, it feels like, oh, it would be cool. Like I guess everything feels equally valid. Walking Dead, especially some parts, I feel very strongly like, nope, all the other options were just wrong, so there's no reason to see them. But then this one is like, yeah, that seems valid too. It's like, I wonder what would happen if you did that thing, or what would happen if you do this thing. And it's like, yeah, looking through the trees, I sort of have some clues as to what happens for certain things. Like if you don't do them, then like how it pans out. And I was like, oh, so it can still pan out, even if you don't. Like you're forced. There's parts where like you're forced into the situation, and it feels like you have no choice, because if you don't do these things, something bad will happen. And then I guess the game, looking at the charts, like bad things do happen, but you don't like it doesn't end in the bad thing. You can still do other stuff, and it's like, oh, so there's like big branches that I saw nothing of.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that part where you have like the I don't remember what it's called, but like the Blade Runner test where it's like, do this and I will tell you everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
can't. That was like the hardest choice in the game. I was just like, You're the most no gunner. I can't do it. No. I couldn't push. That was great. I was like, I couldn't push the button. I was like, man, that was awesome. And like I saw like the chart after the fact. I was like, oh, there's so much more behind that. What's there? I have to see it. So it's like, oh, gotta see that one again.
It was really funny. Like that option. When I got to that point, I was sort of feeling like he would do that thing because of the way that I had been playing him previously. But then, yeah, I did get to a point. I was like, I don't think I can do it. And then, like, the other guy is questioning you about why, and he's like, kind of putting words in your mouth. He's like, "Oh, you did because this," and in my mind, like, your character just starts saying, "Yeah," and I'm very conflicted, or blah blah blah. And in my mind, is like, "No, that's not. I didn't not do it for any of those reasons.
Yeah.
Did it because I'm a monster.
I did it for you. I want you to be proud of me, Papa." But
That's how
it was
Pinocchio
not. It was not one of the options. I was like, well, I guess this has gone down the tubes.
Wait, so you killed for him?
I didn't.
You did not kill for him, is basically what you're about to say, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, there are parts where you definitely kill people, but it's not like choose to kill them or not. It's like action hero moments, and you're just like, well, I tried to play, every time I was given the option to like kill people, I did not, and now it's just like, oh, action sequence. Those people just died, and it kind of invalidates like who I was trying to play as. But I guess action sequence, and during an action sequence, it doesn't really make you blink now because it's video game. But it's just like, that was weird, because before it was like, oh, do I shoot them or not? And it's like, no, we're not gonna shoot them. And then this part's just like,
Oh my.
See, I had a weird moment like that where it's like I had the option to like shoot or spare, but it didn't say kill. And I was like, it was after a very like prolonged fight, and I was like, okay, look here, you're dangerous, and I need you to like not attack me. And like you've been going at this pretty aggressively. I need to slow you down or something. I didn't know it was just like kill them, and I was like, whoops, I feel bad now. And that was just like a whole thing.
Or spare, so clearly spare means that you're planning on killing them if you did the other option.
That was not
really
weird.
like, I don't know if it led to where it led mine. Oh wait, no, you wouldn't have seen that part. Okay, it's really cool how like it's very reflective of the thing they kept saying for Heavy Rain, where it was like death is not the end.
Yeah.
Like death is not game over, and that plays out in so many ways.
I thought that was like really
Detroit.
cool what they did with them. Well, there's like a bunch of situations with Conrad that can happen. Cause like I thought it was like weird because there's like moments where like he does like go offline, but you don't game over with him. And I'm like, wait, what? So he can die, but he comes back? So what's up with this? But they just like play with that aspect of how he like is an android, and he just gets like a new body or whatever. But I'm like,
there's like a lot of different. That happens in a lot of different situations, not just with that character. It's just like a lot of characters, and it's like, wow, pretty neat.
okay,
Did not expect it to go there.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. So that was, and then like there's okay, I'm not gonna say like what happens, but like one of the characters' epilogues was like so tragic. I like went back to see if I could change it because I was like, no, and I couldn't, and I was sad. And I was like, well, that's a sad ending. So whatever. Maybe,
Wow,
maybe
I had nothing like that
do
happen.
things indifferently if I do something else or something. So, or maybe if I do something earlier down the road. I don't know. So, who knows?
Because I don't remember if I mentioned on the podcast, but like when I was playing it, there was a thing I saw before that said that it was basically a review that said the game wasn't that good because chances are on your first playthrough you'll end up with one of the bad endings and it won't like feel satisfying or whatever. And like I played through and I was like, huh, like my ending was, I mean, there was a part where it's like, okay, I don't, that could go either way, but then all the rest of it was like, yeah, this is the best possible ending. So you had one part of the ending that was not good.
I mean, it wasn't. It was sad. It wasn't
Or it was, like,
bad.
tragic.
Yeah, it was more of a tragic thing happened, but like they didn't die or anything. It was just like something bad, like really bad happened. But they
I'm
came
gonna
out
have to ask
okay.
what that is later.
And then I was just like, man, after all that, after all, I've been carrying this bucket of water around, and you're just gonna like throw it like over the cliff, and just like be like, sorry, it was nah, we don't care about this anymore. And it's like really just like the 10-hour journey. I had this bucket of water, whatever.
Run up and kick you in the shin and take the water.
But yeah, I just very much enjoyed it, and it's just like, man, so good. And then so many different ways, because like after you see all the trees, the branching paths after each thingy, it's like, oh man, I have to play this again, because I want to go full deviant, and then I want to go revolutionary deviant and burn it all down, burn down the humans.
Oh my.
Because there's so many cool things that happen in the background as you're playing with like Marcus, as far as like public opinion. It's like all these other things that like affect like, or that he is affecting, where it's like, oh, see, like you're super influential revolutionary dude, and you have all this influence, and it's like, oh well, if you're probably a bad person or terrible, or like evil android terrorist, humans probably hate you, and like this is probably like in very badly. But I want to get to like the very end where you get that nice option to be like, oh, I can do this to you. So I really want to go full deviant revolutionary and be like, yes, we will die on this hill. You will too, humans. Or just like play through with Connor and then have him be like, completely like merciless, kill everything. It's like, I'm not holding back. Or just yeah, man.
It was So the thing I said when I played it, where I kind of think it is just an Android story. Like, do you feel that way, or do you feel like it was supposed to be sort of a metaphor for other things?
I mean,
Like
I could see how you could see it as a metaphor, but it is very much an Android story. Like, it is, and like just about androids and like how they fit into society.
And I wonder if the thing is, so there's one of the things that came out at E3 was like people were saying that the Division 2's development team is sort of copping out because they're saying that, oh yeah, our game isn't political in any way. And then writers are saying, well, no, everything is political, so of course it's political. But then it's like, I wonder if developers are saying that because, they could do a much better job if they were going for political. Like, I feel like if Detroit was supposed to be the metaphor that everyone insists that it is, it would have been better or a better metaphor for what it's supposed to be. But since it isn't, like, it sort of takes the pressure off. It's like, oh no, I'm not trying to make it like that. I'm just writing this sort of simpler story. So when you look at it and you're like, oh, this metaphor is just so shallow, I was like, that's because, I didn't try, basically.
Yeah, because they could have definitely like went there if they wanted to with like the stuff that they like put in the game.
Yeah,
because there's stuff in there like with. I thought that's the thing they like really did that. I was like, cool, because like they have like those protest scenes and like all that stuff where it's like very, it feels very relatable to like the modern, what's that, activist movement with like scenes like that in the game. But it's not really trying to like be that type of game or just do those things. It's there because that's what the androids are doing, because that's that's where they're at in the game. So it's like, I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm so confused.
That part where they're marching, I was like, oh man, that was cool. That was just like, that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that part was the first one.
Yeah,
that part was really cool.
Because I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Like the tension on that, like just that scene when like it just rises, and it's just like, oh man, oh man, oh man, and then the cops get called in, and it's like, oh man, it's just giant standoff. It's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, Marcus, I'm scared, hold me. It's just, it's like, am I gonna make the right choice? It's like, okay, didn't I? Yes, I made the right choice. We made it, guys. We made it. And then I towards like going into the inn, it's like, I just wanted to like keep him and his Scooby-Doo team together, and I was like, man, you guys, we have been through things. I can't lose any of you. It's like I started feeling for them. Oh. And it's like weird because like there's a part where like you with North or Is that her name? The lady.
Yep.
Like there's a part where like you grab her hand and like you exchange your memories, which is super interesting and weird, but whatever. And then like there's like the
Embrace
option to like
eternity, Tekken.
there's like the option
Embrace
to
eternity.
like kiss her, but in my brain I'm like, well, I'm an android, so I should just like stare soullessly into her eyes. But then that would be weird to me. So it's like I'm going to, since I'm a human, like this is how we express emotions. So I will kiss her. And then you get like the option later on to do it, and I was like, why is it letting me do this again? It's like, whatever, androids kissing. Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Yeah, I'm not going to do the stare to eye thing 'cause that's super creepy, man. That would just like
It's
freak me out.
it's probably supposed to humanize them a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
yeah, because
that's
it's
what
like
it's
staring
supposed
into
to
each
be
other's
about,
eyes
like-
is like way like to me if like we just stood there and stared into each other's eyes soullessly. I was like, this is too on the nose, man. This is too on the nose. Taking this.
Like, so you have eyes? Why?
Let us
Cool.
let us merge our memories while we stare soullessly into each other's eyes, Tekken. Yes,
Have eyes.
yes, North. Let's do that. It's like. No, Tekken would kiss her, but then Tekken's a human, so this is weird. This is weird. I don't know. I was like, it just threw me off that part. I was like, androids kissing. Okay, I'm fine with that. But then, like, if
I
you're
would
not
just stare
kissing, you're just
soullessly.
soullessly staring into their eyes. So it's like, that's more realistic, Tekken. Why don't you just stare into your eyes? And I was like, that's not, no. That's not what humans do. I'm a human. I'm not an android. It's like, you're playing this game too much, Tekken. Maybe you're too deep in. Maybe you want to be on the android side. It's like, shut up, voice in my head. You didn't, no, that's not what I'm thinking. Stop trying to be all weird right now. It was weird.
Well, I mean, maybe your story was entirely different. I thought the story was about sort of the dawn of a new species.
Oh, I did too. That was neat.
Oh,
The
okay.
way that they had that like towards the going forward when like the president. Oh, that was the other cool part. It was like
be a new
the whole
species.
president
They don't
like in the
have-
like the press room when like answering questions. I like that. That was like amazing use of like
yeah,
the
that was really cool.
Quantic Dream secret sauce of just like pushing buttons. Oh, you next. Oh, I was like. Oh, I was like, that's
Yeah,
really
at first
cool.
I was like, wait, you just push the buttons? I was like, oh, you can look around. It's like, oh, cool. we can paint the narrative right here. What do we want them to say?
Yeah, it's like that part, and like when they're like chanting slogans on the march, I was like, oh, that was that just
That
delicious.
was really cool.
That's so cool. It's like equal
This
rights
is-
for
well-
androids. Yeah.
So the thing about like they're not alive or they're just like constructed and stuff. The weird thing about us is that none of our components are alive, but somehow we are alive.
That's
You know,
the whole
it's just like-
debate on whether or not we have souls, kind of thing.
It's like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. Like none of those things are alive. Even like the sort of small parts that they create, like none of those are alive. And yet, at some point, you put enough of that stuff together in a certain way, and it's a living thing. And it's like, how's that work? It's very weird. We don't understand yet.
It's just a soul debate.
So it's sort of the same thing.
Yeah, but they're like robots. They're not people.
No, yeah, they're robots, but that doesn't mean that
Not
they're
alive. They're not
a
people.
new species.
Nope. They're robots. They don't get to be species.
I want to see. You
They
play.
aren't born. No, if I play it, it'll probably be a very short game. 'Cause help. It's like this is the story of how the robots took over. It all started with the virtual nanny.
It's also weird because like after playing this, I watched Blade Runner 2048 finally for the first time. I got to say that I did not enjoy it as much as playing this game. So I was like, to me, it's like I thought this was really cool just because it felt like a very like grounded and modern like sci-fi story where like with like advanced technology, where it's not like super far off dystopian cyberpunk. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I thought it was like really like it feels very like relatable and grounded and like plausible. So I was like, that was like I like going back and like thinking about this is like really good piece of sci-fi, and that's another reason I loved it. I was just like, man, this is all the technology that they have in the thingy, and like the little LED nodes on like the like next to the eyes, to, like show like when the androids are like when they're like blue, red, or green.
Their process.
Yeah,
See?
it's like what are
Also-
they feeling?
One of the little details I thought was really it made it feel realistic was that the price of an Android was $8.99. And I was like, yeah, like it would have to be. Otherwise, like any high, if it was like $10,000, $20,000 for an Android, like they would not be as pervasive as they are in the game. Like, not everyone can go out and buy another car, just like that.
They can't just
So it's like, but at $8.99, like
You can buy a person.
Flashbang. Yeah.
have all of the people you like be a slave owner.
Did you RPG
Metaphor.
It's funny because they mentioned it. But did you take the questionnaire in the options after you finished your chapter goal, or at some point?
I did it in the middle of the game.
I took it after I finished it. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
man, that was so
Wait,
weird to me that there are so many people that are okay with like a pleasure bot type of situation. As far as like, I would be
I would
fine with being
surprise
romantically
you.
and whatever with the real android, because they're not humans. RPG. They don't feel. They have.
Well, according to Tropical, he just went on this whole tangent on how just
I
because
mean, it's
they
not
don't
about like the feeling thing. It's just like they don't like.
they don't have souls.
They're,
Is that what you're
it's
gonna
like,
say?
It's like analog and digital,
Soulless
dude.
machines.
It's like I can kiss them, but that tongue does not have tongue stuff on it.
Doesn't
I
have-
mean, it's not
doesn't
like
have
actual
form.
tongue.
You're a
This is
racist,
weird.
Tekken. You're a racist.
Okay, when I said they don't feel, that's not what I meant to say. I meant,
It's too late.
I'm
It's
just-
too late.
I'm just saying, it's like if I ate an apple and then like you gave me an apple that was like 3D printed and like made with like synthetic
You wouldn't know the
appleness.
difference, though, because I mean, obviously they would print it with the same material the apple's made out
It's
of.
not the same.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know,
It was
Tekken.
I would
If it was
like
a
to think I could tell the
blind
difference.
taste test, and it was like you didn't know, then
Because the only
it's
reason why
different though. Like, because the question asked you specifically, and so you're like, because they're asking you the question. It's not like,
Yeah,
would you
it's
be
not
able to tell the
fine.
difference? Like, that's not the question.
No, that's like
Because-
I know that's not what I'm like thinking. It's weird. Like for me, it's like whatever. It's like whatever.
Wait,
dude.
wait,
It's like, to me, it's
So,
like I don't know.
how does the questionnaire? It happens after the thing in the menu.
No, it's just like I was going through the options and I saw it and I was like, oh, let me enter this.
Right,
and finish
but
the
like
game.
you had finished the game already.
Yeah.
And so like that last choice in the menu had already happened.
Yes. Wait. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
happened.
Wait. So does then there's no speech during the survey, right?
Yeah.
You're just like reading it,
Yeah, it's just reading it.
and then you finish it, and there's just nothing.
It was just it's just the results that you can look at.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, so if you have the
question.
hostess lady, she like
It's different.
Oh.
Yeah.
These androids, are they like, do they have like some kind of artificial warmth to them too, to kind of make them appear human?
I think
They
they
do.
are.
It's
like-
pretty cool. There's
No,
this-
no, actually, no. They're cold.
They are cold.
Yeah, they are cold.
Ah,
But I imagine like if it was built for that specific
I don't know,
purpose,
Tropical.
like
Cool.
they
I
would
don't know,
have to
man.
do-
There's that part.
they would probably pump some type of heat into them.
Yeah, they would probably.
make
Or
them-
they would probably have heat generators of some sort.
I would,
Well, yeah, because they're robots.
I
They
would
can have those
imagine that
kinds
they
of things.
can like fluctuate their temperature.
I mean, when you think about it, we're technically robots too. We're just made out of fleshy parts.
Yeah, that's
So,
what
I
I was
mean-
saying earlier.
Yeah, but you're wrong. I'm saying it now, so it's right.
Like, oh man, VR just changed the way I see the world, and then then I saw the thing about like the components. None of the components are alive, and yet we're alive. It's like
You're
that's
right.
true. That is really weird. It's like, so what is life? Like, not like what do our lives mean? It's just like what is even the definition of life? Because the things that make up life are not alive.
Well, that's why they're saying that's why people make the argument that having a soul is kind of what separates us from not living things. Cause
We don't know. We don't even know what that is.
It's magic. Tropical. It's magic. So
It's
we
like,
do know
what
what
is
it is.
consciousness? Is consciousness the same thing?
Kind of. Also magic.
Yeah,
Listen.
Yeah. So
But if there's anything I learned is that if you can't explain it, just chalk it up to like a deity or something.
we can just
all
call
magic.
it supernatural because that's what that term means.
All magic.
All the stuff we don't understand.
Like when in doubt, magic.
Okay, so like, what if you have like a pleasure bot waifu or whatever, and like you want to reproduce. You can't have kids because they can't pop one out. I'm just saying.
I mean, technically, they could make a feature where they could.
They could not pop one out.
They
But
could still,
they
they could still
could
like an
reproduce.
incubator. Because I mean, all you would need is technically just like the female eggs, and then, or if it's the other way around, have a robot with sperm in it.
Eggs are feeding.
You can artificially create these things. It's literally a
They
thing
don't
right
work
now.
like human
Little
eggs.
thing.
They're not the same.
So I mean, I'm just saying it's possible if you really wanted to. It would require some genetic modification, but I mean, as long as
Yeah,
you're
but
not
at that
against.
point, that's like some weird hybrid. Just saying.
Listen, listen. That is how this works, Tekken. That is how this works. You can't
Oh,
complain
and
about-
also Metal Gear Solid, the whole thing is like, genetic passing down your genes is not the only way to pass down information.
Again, we can literally make humans now, so it's like it's not too far fetched. So just putting that out there.
But yeah, actually, that would
Of course, that would raise a lot of ethical
Say.
questions, but I mean, no,
well, no, that would
we're not in a time of where ethics matter anymore. So, darkest timeline. So yeah.
can't wait to see the results of all the dark science that people have wanted to do and haven't been able to do because ethics.
Could you imagine? It's true. They're like, now is the time, guys. Now is the time. We can be as horrible as we want to.
You've
Go
seen
on.
cloned sheep. So I cloned a man. Oh! But that's not impressive in this time. So
It's
I
like-
cloned him 30 times and they fill the stage with the same dude. And it's like, yep.
On top of that, I hybridized him with the tomato because reasons. I wanted to prove I could. So now we have veggie humans. Now vegetarians have a reason to be angry. Now they have a reason. Darkest timeline, guys. Darkest timeline. It's funny now until like next week somebody's like, so fun story, guys. There's this thing I did. Couldn't do it before, but now it seems right. It seems right. So prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves.
But yeah, Detroit was phenomenal, and I very much enjoyed it. So definitely check it out if you're into Quantic Dream games. Oh, it's funny because like after I finished, I was like, man, I should play Heavy Rain again. And then I played the first chapter with Jason's dad. I forgot his name.
Dad.
And man, like the character movement and the
What's
camera
his name?
in that game is
I think it's
Yeah.
Ethan, maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe that's
Ethan.
his father.
Yes.
And so I did that first part, and then I got to the part where you're the detective, but I haven't actually played that part, so it's. I'll see how it
That's-
holds up.
that's
So
a-
far, it's
That's addictive
kinda
to
rough.
Yeah.
AR.
It's far clunkier.
I want to be AR when I grow up.
Let's see. Besides that, played some Destiny. Nothing new to report. Just weekly rituals. So whatever. I mean, there was like a faction rally, but whatever, dude. I'm kind of done talking about this game until there's like something to talk about. So until July, when we have the Solstice of Heroes, or until Forsaken, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, dude, I played it, and I'm getting up there in the power levels. So I haven't really bothered with Escalation Protocol because not as good matchmaking wise as Archon Forge, where it's like, oh, someone might be in here, and it's like, oh, just a patrol area where nobody's. Okay, well, I'll just go back to orbit or do something else, whatever. So, way to drop the ball there, Bungie. I mean, Digital Extremes, whatever, whoever's fault. Digital Extremes, Bungie, the other people, Shadow Moon Studios,
High Moon.
High Moon. Jeez, yeah, the ones with the moon in it, those
The ones with the moon in
the
it.
moon people, not from the moon. What else did I play? I know I played something else. Oh, okay, I did. I know I played. Okay, whatever. I know I played God of War. I think there's some other stuff I played, but whatever. It's probably not important or like super whatever. So, started God of War. Really good. Like it looks amazing. Just oh my gosh, the detail and the textures. I haven't got that far. I'm only to the like part right after you meet Brock, and then like that next dungeon after that. But I haven't got through it yet. I just started it, so not very far in. Liking it so far, and now I can get all the references I've been seeing on Twitter where Kratos is like boy, 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 and just yeah, he says it a lot. He says it a lot.
He does
I'm
say
like,
it a
man,
lot.
He does say it a lot. So liking the whole gear system where it's like different equipment gives you different stats, and it's like oh RPG elements like RPG Z. It's just like sprinkle it all in. The magical secret sauce of the Red Dead and all the other open world games that they just took from other stuff, and it's like oh let's sprinkle this in our game and see what happens. It's pretty good stuff, and all the combat is neat and just brutal when you rip people in half. Oh my gosh, very much enjoy that. And then like the Spartan rage, that was great. Oh, and the fight with the dude, the stranger, that was intense. I gotta say, like when you go over 9,000 and like you pick him up and like you run through the stuff, or like there's like debris. It's like part of your house and like a bunch of rocks and crap. It was cool. It was great. It was like it goes super cinematic, and you're just like, wow, I just like did that thing. That was awesome. And like you drop that giant thing on him, and man, I was like, that was intense. That was like over 9,000. Like I said, just I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was like, I mean, the cinematic moments were cool because like the combat was like very, it felt good, and then you had like the sweet cinematic cutscenes of like he punches you on the house, and then you're like going through the house, and like man, it was great. It was great. Magical magic of the Sony Worldwide First Party Studios. Magic touch. This. What else did I play? I think I don't think I actually did play. I played some Gran Turismo Sport probably in there somewhere, and then effing oh, I know what it was. I wanted to play Resident Evil because I got super hyped after RE2, and then like I didn't actually end up playing any because I loaded up 4, and I was like, I want to play some Mercenaries mode, and it's not unlocked at the beginning. I was like, oh, sad face. And then I loaded up 5, and I was like, it's unlocked. And then it's like, double. You get all the characters. What? And then all the stages. What? And I was like, wow, that is like worth it for like the $10 I spent on this game. And then I loaded up 6, and then there's like 4 characters, and I was like, I want to play as Ada. I want to play as Ada. She's not here, but I guess if I get a certain ranking or something, I can unlock her. Besides, I mean, you played the campaign. I think I read online, and you get her. She says short campaign, but I want to play it in order. But I haven't played in a long time, and I remember it being long, so it's kind of a slog to get Mercenaries mode in 4, and then play as Ada in 6. So I mean, I could just play the campaign, but like I said, it's like the last one of all the campaigns. So if I played in order, it's gonna be wild. But also that opening tutorial, man. Whew, that game. I forgot how actiony jump in the shark they went on that series, and it's like going back to play that. It's like, man, you can just feel it. Did I play anything else? I guess that's it. I think there's probably other stuff I played, but not really. Like nothing like super in depth or intensely. So yeah. I will come back because there's probably something I played. I'll just check my YouTube feed here real quick. So someone else go with what they've been playing, or try to go because I pretty goes last.
I played.
No.
You played no?
I don't know what's happening.
Sorry, I just wanted to have a dramatic interjection.
Well, so yeah, as I mentioned during the E3 show, I made that list. I was like, okay, this is the homework I need to finish before I can buy the new games that were announced at the show that I want to play. Somehow the Division is related to all that, so I was like playing the Division and trying to get through the single-player campaign, which I thought would be much easier than it is.
Nice.
It's pretty tough. Because, well, I'm not. I think it's because the gunplay, even though it feels like it's just a third-person cover shooter, in the style of like Ghost Recon and stuff like that, it's actually it matters a lot, like what level your gear is, and I hadn't really been paying attention to my gear because that just is not interesting to me. But yeah, I got to a point where it's like, my guns are doing nothing. I'm like shooting them, and they're headshots, and they're getting hit, but they don't really flinch, and there's not really any hit reaction. It's more like it's sort of like I guess, RPG style shooter. So you still have to shoot them, and hitting them in the head does do more damage, but it's not like a shooter where that kills them. It just does more damage. And if your guns suck, then it takes forever. And the enemies are pretty aggressive. They don't just wait behind cover for you to come or, play whack-a-mole. They actually move and try to flank around you and throw grenades, and their sniper rifles are ridiculous. And, sometimes... actually, many times on one occasion, I kept dying in the same place because I would pop my head up, and I wouldn't even see the sniper guy get up yet. I would die before I would see him get up and shoot the bullet. It's like, how does that work? Well, I guess it's an online game, so maybe it's a lag thing, and it was crazy. So I'm just so instead of this quick, breezy, I'm just gonna run through the campaign, it became this long slog where I'm like, okay, now I have to get this equipment upgraded, and I have to get more money to buy parts for this thing so I can make this upgraded. It's like, okay, now everything's upgraded, and then I'll go there. It's like, oh no, I'm not high enough level, so I have to go back and do a bunch of side missions to try to get XP so I can get to a high enough level so then I can finally go to the next mission. And yeah, this has been very tedious. And it's sort of it's kind of like Yakuza and I guess any JRPG, except you can see where the enemies are. They're kind of like random encounters just on the street, and sometimes I'll be running through a higher level area to get to where I'm going, and I'll run into one of these, and there must be a way to tell which ones are good and which ones are bad, but I have not figured it out. So sometimes I'll just be running down the street.
Crosshairs over them?
Yeah, but that makes the going slow anywhere you want to go. But that is probably the better strategy, because dying does set you back. Yeah, I'll just be running, and these people, they'll just be walking around looking like normal people. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna run past them, and I run up to them, and suddenly they turn around, I was like, oh, and then I don't even know what they say. They just start shooting at me.
You're not one of us.
Why?
You made the mistake of trusting us. How you perish.
Very annoying. Yeah, playing this, it reminds me of a thing I first thought when I first played the game. It's just this is a really weird situation. So, a plague hits New York, and then it all goes crazy, and now I'm just this agent of some sort, like a sleeper agent that was activated, and I'm here to, I don't know, restore the city somehow. And then there's people who want to shoot at me, and it's but then aren't those people just basically regular people with guns? So regular American people. It's just they shoot at me, so I shoot at them, and we're all okay with this? Some of them are definitely crazy. There's an entire cult, or I guess they're a cult, who they all wear flame retardant suits, and they're just going around burning people because they're we gotta kill the plague, let's burn everybody. And it's okay, so those are your typical yeah, you have to die. But then there's a lot of them who are just oh, it's just they're just guys probably trying to find food and shelter and trying to be safe. But and they have guns because there's scary people out there. And then they shoot at you, and it's well, I guess I have to kill you because there's nothing else I can do.
It's clearly diplomacy and placation, and
yeah.
and
it's
what's that word called? Parlay. Yes, none of that in Division. Just shoot me, shoot you, and someone dies.
Tonight,
pretty
someone
much
dies.
So yeah, I mean, what drew me to the game initially during the beta was just building the base. I like to build the base, and But then, like, when you actually do playing, it's like, this feels really strange. Like, these are probably just regular people.
In order to build the base, you have to kill people, Tropical. Jeez, didn't someone
true.
tell you?
And then take their stuff.
This is a fact.
So you can kill stronger people.
That's how video games work. That's the loop circle. Kill the thing, get the thing, kill the other thing, get more better thing. Keep on killing, keep on getting more the better thing.
Even if they're people,
Even
kill
if they're
them.
people.
Kill them all.
I guess, like, yeah, in other games, the bad guys feel, they do things to make them feel bad enough, or they're just like old school bad, which is just evil for no reason.
The
But then,
darkness.
Like
Like-
Skeletor.
yeah. But then these guys are just like, you're not really sure. It's like, well, okay, the cleaners, the fire people, like, I can understand that. Why we have to fight them, but like these guys are just like, they're looters. It's like, but we don't have the death penalty for looting.
Yet.
Yes. Oh. Oh, RPG. Oh.
Maybe
Darkest
the
Timeline,
Division
guys.
is the end result of the Darkest Timeline. That would be, oh, that maybe, I don't know.
So it's already happening. It's already happening.
But yeah, the Division is a slog now. Just like, oh, it's taking forever. I just want to get through these missions, but I have to be. I'm level. You don't level up that quickly either. It's like Destiny, you level up fairly quickly. In the original game, I don't think there was ever a time where I had to like grind somewhere to get up to the level to play a mission. The latest expansion, I did have to do that. But then, like, the Division, I'm just like constantly like, okay, I finished this mission. I want to go to the next one. And I'll look, and it'll be like 2 levels above me. It's like, oh. And I have to do a whole bunch of side stuff to get that 2 levels. And one time I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to go. And I went, and like, I got one-shotted over and over again. I was like, okay, I can't just go. I have to get those 2 levels. I'm like, ah. So it has been slow going, but I don't think I'm gonna give up yet. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still at the point where I don't think I'll give up.
Give up.
And then the other thing I started playing was Diablo 3, whatever the edition is called now. A while back, they started doing the seasons on Diablo, and like 2 weeks ago, I booted up Diablo because it was on the menu, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna try it, and I started playing it. And I was like, oh, the seasons! Oh, I forgot about the seasons. They give you seasonal rewards and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this season, and I started a new Necromancer character, my 3rd one. I've never been to the max level as a Necromancer.
Why do you keep starting new characters then?
Well, so what happens, like, I think the last time I played a Necromancer, it was also a seasonal character. It was a different season, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play Necromancer as my seasonal character, because I haven't played Necromancer yet, and I'm going to do all this stuff, and it's going to be really fun, and I'm going to get these rewards, and it'll be cool. And so I started playing.
I'm sorry, Tropical. You're making me think of the whole, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different outcomes.
A different result.
It's like, I think Tropical might have a problem. You might really have a problem. But whatever, no. Oh, actually, we can do that in the news. The whole gaming, whatever syndrome. I didn't think. Whatever. That's a whole. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm on the thread.
Yeah, so I got to that time I think I got to like level 28 or something in the season. The level cap is 70, I think now. And then yeah, I didn't finish out that season. And what happens to your seasonal characters at the end of the season is that they're just converted into regular non-season characters. And then so the season ended, and I went back and was like, oh, so now I have a level 28 or so Necromancer. I was like, okay. And then I just like kind of lost interest in a while, played something else probably. And then another season came around and I was like, all right, this is the one. And I made another Necromancer because, I had, the first time I didn't play that far with the Necromancer. So okay, do it again. And yeah, basically the same thing happened. This is the third time. Like, okay, this is the time. Or no, actually the second Necromancer was 2 weeks ago. When I was like, yeah, I'm going to play this season. And then I started playing. It's like, okay, I was playing Paragon every morning, so I should be able to do this. And so, like, the second day I started playing, and I thought it was a server issue, but then it said, nope, season has ended. And I was like, what? Before I started this season, I looked up online. I searched, when does season 13 end in Diablo 3? And there was a thread that had speculations, like, oh, it's going to end this week. And then the new season will start in 2 weeks. And then, like, people were debating about it. And I was like, okay, so that is not the official announcement of the end of the season. So this doesn't count. Like, it's not going to end this week because they would announce it. And they always announce the end of the season 2 weeks before it ends. And since it hasn't hasn't been announced. If it gets announced today, I have 2 weeks to play this season, which should be plenty to get to max level. But it turned out like the season did end the next day. And I was like, what? I got to level 20 something again.
Curse you, Blizzard!
Yeah, I got switched back. It's like, wait, what happened? Like, I Google searched it. It should have given me the right result. And then I searched their Twitter feed, and yeah, their Twitter feed had announced 2 weeks before that it's ending. It's like, come on, Google! You failed me! So I was like, all right, fine. When does the next season start?
This is so
like,
funny.
June 14th. June 14th comes. I'm like, yes, now is the time. E3 is over. Let's play some Diablo 3. And I loaded up, picked another Necromancer, and started the game again. And yeah, the third time. So now I am level 54.
Yay, try to go
It has
past
been
28.
like 5 days. And it's been really, like, Diablo is a weird game now. It used to be, I remember Diablo 2 was kind of challenging. And you had to sort of keep your health up and aim your attacks more or less, kind of. And it felt like a more challenging game. But this game is just really random. It's just like, you are so powerful that stuff just kind of happens around you as you push buttons, and then everything is dead, and then you just like pick up all the gold and loot, and then you move on to the next place, and you just do that over and over. Like, there are times when I'm not even really paying attention to what is happening in the game, because it's just like, well, nothing can kill me, I don't think. And I've already cranked it up to expert level, which is far from the hardest difficulty, but it's 2 levels up from normal. And still, it's like, very, very rarely do I notice that I might need to use a health potion. It's just mostly running around, it's like, oh, throw all the spells, and everything dies. And then, so this time, I know that Diablo 3 is like that now, and so this time with my Necromancer, I'm not even choosing my skills. There's like, every time I level up, I unlock new skills, and then I'm just gonna, assign those. So every time I level up, like, my character build, as far as skills, changes. And occasionally I'll have ridiculous combos that are super awesome. And then other times I'll just have ridiculous combos that aren't really useful, but they're pretty funny and awesome in that way. And then other times they'll just be like combos like, oh, this isn't really working at all, and it's becoming a lot slower going to get to the next level. It's like, oh, please let me get to the next level so I can change my skills again. For example, the Necromancer has 3 different like magic trees, basically. There's like corpse magic, blood magic, and I guess bone magic. Which is like skeletons and bone armor and like bone spikes that come out of the ground and stuff.
Bone magic.
corpse magic is really fun because as the necromancer, every time you kill an enemy, they leave behind a corpse that you can use as. It doesn't require mana, I don't think. It's just like you can use that corpse to do one corpse spell. And the one I like the most is something, or I thought the one I liked the most was something called Corpse Explosion, where the corpses just you like set them, or you activate your skill, and then all the corpses within a small radius like explode, and you can do these like crazy explosions because Diablo sends these huge mobs of enemies at you, and so sometimes like you kill just one of them, you explode that corpse, and it blows up and kills a bunch of them around it, and then you have a bunch of corpses there, and then you hit it again, and then all those corpses explode, and you're just like bigger and bigger corpse explosions, killing more and more enemies, and it's like, oh, yeah, I walked into this enemy, 1-on-30, and then 5 seconds later it was over, and it was really cool. But later I found a skill called I don't know what it's called, but it's corpse magic, and what it does is you target an enemy, and then like the bones in a corpse nearby will pop out and like fly over and stab the enemy.
Seems legit.
And so it's like, wow, this one you don't even really need to, like, corpse explosion is best. Well, obviously it's best if the enemies are near the corpses that you're exploding. Sometimes that's not the case. With this bone sort of shafts or spears or whatever, like, you just have to be pointing at the enemy, and the bones from the corpses, wherever they may be, will find that enemy, and they'll just like pop up into the air and seek them out, and most of the times they die, and it's like, oh, this is so powerful.
Isn't that technically bone magic?
I guess it's both. It doesn't require any of your like mana pool. It still just uses the corpse around you, but yes, technically they are damaged by bones.
Combo magic, yay!
It's like, yeah, it's really cool. And then later, well, there was another one that was it's called Devour, and basically like you eat the corpses, I guess, and then it gives you back mana. So if you've used up all your mana, you hit Devour,
just eat a bunch of dead things.
Yeah, like eat all the dead things, and then you have more mana, and you can do more mana magic.
Anamicus.
Except they weren't my friends; they were my enemies.
So enemicus?
Well, later you get a modifier for Devour, which instead of like being activated with a button, it just turns into an aura around you. So anytime there's a corpse within that radius, it just gets automatically devoured, and then you have more essence, more mana. And later on, you get a skill called Land of the Dead, and I was just like assigning these in a quick assigning, not even going to the menus. So, and since I've never played this far with Necromancer, I didn't know what any of these skills did. I was just like assigning them and then just pushing the buttons to see what would happen. And it just happened like at that level, I had the Devour Aura, and then Land of the Dead came up. I was like, I don't know what that is. And I pushed it, and suddenly I just see all of these corpses being devoured by me, and I just like had infinite mana for a moment. It's like, what was that? What's going on? And it turns out Land of the Dead is like, for a brief period, you have unlimited corpses to use in corpse magic. And since it was the aura one, like, I didn't even have to activate it. It was just like tons of corpses were flying into me, and I just had infinite magic. It's like, oh, that was so cool. It's like, oh, what would this be like with the bone spears?
Oh, yeah.
And you can kill bosses so fast. You're just like, or the other time, like, because I played through the campaign with other characters, and it's basically the same every time. Well, most of it's procedurally generated, the enemy placement and stuff, but there's a few places where the same groups of enemies will always be. in the campaign, and there was one section where I know that there's a lot of guys there, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. So I just like switched to Land of the Dead and Corpse Explosion. I just walked into the middle, activated Land of the Dead, and then just started mashing Corpse Explosion. And yeah, it's just like blood fireworks all around me, and everything's like, oh, everything's dead. It's like, yes, you feel super powerful in Diablo 3. Basically all the time. Did you ever get it, RPG?
I did not, because I didn't know which one. I didn't know which version it gets.
I think I picked it up. I haven't played it yet. Because it was finally $30 on the store, but it wasn't. I think it was the not the game of the year, but the one. It's whatever. It's the one with like all the things. The Ultimate Edition, yeah.
Okay. Ultimate Evil Edition.
But
Something.
then there's like another version after that, so it's like great. I still know all the things, so whatever.
I think the last thing is only the Necromancer. So you have everything, like all the campaign chapters, I think, and you're just missing the one character. Oh, we should play. It's fun. RPG, you should get it. It doesn't matter which version you get.
Doesn't it though? Doesn't it?
Not unless you want to play Necromancer.
Well, I mean, you made it sound fun. So I mean,
they're all fun.
Yeah,
well,
but
that's the
they
thing.
can all make explosive blood fireworks everywhere. So I mean,
that's true. I was sitting there, I was like, is this fun? Like, it feels, this is the most mindlessly playing of a game that I've done in forever. Like, even during the podcast, well, we used to play Paragon, and that was probably not a super good idea, because that game is pretty hard when you're trying to do other stuff. And I think we lost most of those games that we played during the podcast, because I would have the sound off, so I wouldn't be able to hear the combat stilettos. And you don't know what's really happening in the game, and like, oh shoot, something's happening, and then you realize too late. And I tried to play like racing, like Gran Turismo during the podcast, and it takes a lot of concentration to play Gran Turismo, and that was really tough. I think I actually could play Diablo 3 during the podcast and be like 95% focused on the podcast and like 5% focused on the game, and I would still be doing rather well.
Might be because you're so powerful in the game.
You're always powerful. Like, the only time I was not powerful was as you like increase the difficulty, you get more experience and gold per kill, and I think at expert level it's like 150% more. And they after a certain update, I can't remember which one, like they changed it so the original game was more of a slog and it took longer to level up, but now they changed it so that the enemies level up with you. So the enemies are always the same or like slightly lower level than you are. But then as you crank up the difficulty, they have more health and do more damage. But apparently not that much, or it always seemed like that to me, because I've been playing on expert basically exclusively, and you just get so much more XP. It just feels like you're getting so much more XP. I was like running around like, yeah, I'm leveling up so quickly. But one time I decided to like start a new game, and I cranked it up. I think it was expert or beyond. But when you start out, you have no skills. You just have regular attack, and you have no. I think the weapon they give you at the beginning does like 1 to 2 damage, or something. It's just like I couldn't get through the first combat encounter. It took several tries to get through the first combat encounter like that. I was like, okay, maybe you can make it really hard. But yeah, as it is, this playthrough at expert is just been Yeah, just mindless. I'm sitting there. I was like, oh, the explosions and everything. It looks really cool, and stuff is dying. But is this fun? I guess it's fun to get more powerful. Like the combat is fun to watch, but it's not fun in the way that other combat. I don't know. It's sort of weird, but I find it pretty compelling. Like this. Even though I've given up many times, like I've come back many times to Diablo 3 too. Yeah, we should do an aimless Diablo 3. I think that'd be fun. Let's do
Aimless
it.
Diablo.
Wait, you guys have never played Diablo 3?
Nope.
I've never played Diablo at all.
What? Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I guess it's not surprising. RPG's not into the whole WRPG thing, so who cares about Western studios and their take on the genre?
Yeah, they can suck
I'm
it.
gonna turn my nose up in the air as I just devour all these visual novels and JRPGs.
Visual novels and JRPGs.
Delicious visual novels.
Oh no, it's a Hublove. Oh, the wrong game, no.
Muv-love! I almost had a Muv-love moment in one of the games I played. It's like, is this Muv-love?
I'm gonna play some Love games. I want to see what they're like.
It's a trap.
Like I only know about them by reputation, but I have no idea what they're actually like.
That's true. They might actually.
Like,
I mean,
I
actually be
must
pretty good.
pull out my magnifying glass and see what's here.
Yeah, I want to see
What
what's
game?
there.
Is there any game?
For
there?
research.
Is there any there? there?
I like curiosities.
For research.
The fringes
I
of gaming
also-
presented by Tropical and Aimless Podcast.
As a dev, like, is the Love genre like less crowded? Could you make more money there?
I mean,
Is it like
they
are
obviously
they
have an audience because I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
they're
I
like,
would
are they-
imagine because it's so stigmatized, it probably is. There's more visibility there. It's like nobody wants to work on those. Who does
like
that?
are they hard to make or are they easier to make?
just make it
Like I have
just
no
a
idea what
porn,
they're
but,
like.
more PG. That's all. There you go. I
Or
just.
what are the mechanics.
I mean, listen, you're worrying about too many details. You kind of just need to start and just hope for the best. I mean, I'll play one for research, and then I'll let you know. Like, guys, this is what a Love actually is. Are there any news on the PS4? 'Cause
There is
then
that
I can,
one actually.
Then I can
it was on sale.
stream
Oh, I
it.
can't remember. It was like the one where like you're a dude and like you're a detective and there's a bunch of like lady clients you have. I can't remember the name of it though. It was M-rated. I saw it on the store.
is it a porn? I mean,
It's like
because
a
it
visual
sounds like
novel
a
type.
porn.
It just seemed.
He's like, I'll show you why they call me a private dick.
Is it the one that like Xbox users were getting banned for screenshotting?
I don't know.
I think that was just because they were screenshotting their junk.
That's not a screenshot.
I
There's a special
mean,
I'm looking it up. Let's see if I can find it. Oh my gosh.
Wait, so Tekken, you've played old Diablo, but you haven't played the third one?
I've played the first one. I was really into the first one back in the day, dude. Like, that was back in the day when, like, I was a PC gamer child of, like, that, Command and Conquer, F and StarCraft, Rainbow Six, like, that was, like, the golden age. And just, like, yeah, I remember the times.
I played a lot of the second one.
So I played the
I'd never
expansion,
seen the
too,
first
and I was like, man, Diablo's pretty dope. But then I didn't play the second one, because it was, like, you needed a video card, and our computer's not that advanced, so yeah. Yeah, we didn't have computer money to like just buy upgrades and crap.
pure money.
Yeah, let's plot through the third one. It's super fast. I will
Can
carry
find
you.
a Love game
I'm trying
with
to
the
find one.
PS4,
Oh, on PS4.
so I can stream it so we can all know what the hell a Love is.
Wait, was Love on PS4?
Probably. I mean,
The game that names the genre? that we named the genre.
I was just going to say, what we named the genre. I don't think it's actually called that.
Oh, it's not. Muv-Luv is on Vita.
Oh. I mean, I have a Vita for
We
science, guys.
can't stream it.
I can't. You're right. It's an adult game released by so probably shouldn't be streaming that anywhere.
Is there a perhaps you'll like?
It's like, if you like Mud Love, you'll definitely love.
That's what I'm trying to find right now.
Or can you search?
I
Oh,
don't
maybe
even-
you go to the ESRB website
I
and
don't know what
search.
the genre is actually called. That would probably help. like, what it was
The
called.
genre for Muv-Luv is listed as adventure.
Ah, well, it is an adventure for someone. An adventure in their pants. In their pants. I mean, it says that they're visual novel type games, so I mean, I would be the most likely one of all of us to play it. So
Hey,
I
I
can
know
take
there's
a-
visual novels on.
let me see
You
what's
can't
classified.
search visual novel.
Japanese visual novel released as an adult game. So then there has to be something where it says, yeah, if you like this, you must like also this thing, this kind of thing.
Let's go to Idea Factory.
90% of their games.
US store. Or wait, no, games.
Stations.
Are the Super Neptunia or the Neptunia games? Those aren't
No.
Muv-Luv.
They're regular, like, they're just very fan servicey. If anybody out there is listening, please text us with a PS4 Muv-Luv type game. It's for science.
Oh, I have
For-
Omega Quintet.
I don't think
But
that
there's
is
the Idol
just an RPG.
Idol Simulator.
There's something.
RPG. Hack and slash.
Idol
Huh.
Simulator.
Wait, who made Muv-Luv?
That is a good question.
Love.
Muv-Luv.
Okay, I was gonna say the other game I was playing was Monster Hunter, and Luna Chicken Go F herself because that's not a fun time.
Well,
Yikes.
she's super fun. She does like these cool like combos with other monsters by accident, and it's like it's super cool. Like that flaming tornado I saw this one time, and then there's like other stuff that happened that was probably interesting, like the supernova, the hypernova, if you will.
Oh my. Muv-Luv has mechs?
Apparently, because I was looking at the picture too, and it was just like, oh, there's robots involved. This is a very strange adult game.
Muv-Luv was on Kickstarter. Okay, so
Mhm.
they're not one of the big Muv-Luv makers.
You're welcome, Muv-Luv. We just gave you extra stuff. Let's see, a tongue-in-cheek romantic comedy. The PlayStation Store doesn't do that thing where it's like, if you like this, you'd like this as well.
Only after you buy it and play it.
Well, that's not going to do me any good because I need to know. Well, I think Muv-Luv and Alternative is different from regular Muv-Luv because this one's an interdimensional love story. Romance on a high school roller coaster.
We're learning so much.
We are learning so much. I mean, let me put in my age and then find out and look at the trailer. Because, I mean, maybe it's like similar to the Otome games that I avoid so often. But I think those are always all on Vita, though. So then I wouldn't be able to stream that either, of me fending off hopeless suitors as they try to win me over with my poison blood. That is actually the plot of one of the games, by the way. That is actually a thing. Let's see. There's girls with their mouths open. There is fox people. I'm not entirely sure what kind of genre of games this is, but it's a weird one. So who even knows?
All I know
Let me
is
add it
look
to
at
my wish list
thingy.
and
on because I think it's on my search history on YouTube when I looked up gameplay for it, so I should be able to find it. I just don't remember the name. Search something. Search history. There we go.
Taking to Twitter.
Is this one released? Oh, but this is a Western one. This is called Frisky Business.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one. I think.
Frisky. Oh, it is on PS4.
That's the one where you're the dude detective and there's like the ladies. And, yep, that's when I just found it on my search.
Ah.
That's the one. 6 months ago.
Let's investigate your
murder
body.
clowns.
The best kind of clowns. It's called what? Frisky Business, you said?
Yes.
Frisky Business.
That sounds like a porn title. Oh, it is. Probably shouldn't have just typed that into your Yahoo search.
Ooh.
Listen, I don't believe in Google. I have a Google phone, though, by the way. So, but I refuse to type porn titles into it just in case. Next thing you know, I'm getting targeted, headed on Facebook for random crap, and
Yeah, on sale in the store, and I was like, "This is rated M," and I looked at it, and then like it says strong language, sexual content, mild violence, partial nudity, and then like the trailer's just like weird visual novel stuff, and I was like, "Oh, it's one of those." But of course, I haven't played it, so I'm just judging it silently. But I was like, "It's one of those. It's a muv-love." But this was before
it does
muv-love.
have murder clowns. That's normal, I guess.
But yeah, Frisky Business. That's the one.
The art style is horrid, though. I would not be able to play through that.
Or a W Muv-Love.
A Wovlo?
A Wub. A Wub Muv-Love.
A Wovlo?
Oh, this one has people who bought this also bought.
Oh, does it? Where?
But none of them are. Oh, that's right. PS4's suggestion thing is kind of good.
Their algorithms are like, here, you play this, you might also like NBA
Call
Live
of Duty.
2007.
Almost always.
I don't think these things are similar. Oh well, I guess we'll just wait until somebody responds to me on Twitter, I guess.
Find me a Muv-Love.
It's for science, listeners. It's for science. I assure you, you think you need this to happen. You need this to happen. Love.
We could just play muv-love. It's on the Vita.
I mean, I could, but then I can't stream it, so you can see all the...
I wonder if you'll be able to stream it anyways. Well, probably on YouTube. Maybe not on Twitch.
I mean, by the time they find out, it'll already be too late.
It's actually funny you mentioned that because I got a something guideline whatever on my God of War stream video I put up because it was too violent. Or
For YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, well, good to know. Good to know God of War still does its thing.
Still checking off those boxes.
Excellent.
So is that all you've been playing Tropical?
Yeah. I think just the two. I've fallen off of everything else. Once I discovered that you didn't have to do the challenges, the weekly challenges in Fortnite on the week, then I was just like, oh. And then I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, I have been playing things like video games, he said hilariously. I tried Fortnite Battle Royale mode because I was curious, but it was not fun, so there's that.
Really?
Listen, Tropical, listen. I tried, and I was like, I don't know how this game works, but it is not working for me. Because like I played it and I started and then I like jumped off of the bus thingy. Then we all were falling and falling, and I was like, I don't know what to do now. So then I hit the ground. I just started breaking stuff with my pickaxe, and then I ended up getting shot, and that was it. I was like, this is fine. This is all fine. So I have no idea how to play that game, but yeah. I tried playing a few matches, and I don't understand how it works. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I tried, man. I tried, but it's kind of some weird kind of shooter builder hybrid thing, and I built a house though, so you know, science and all that. But that's yeah.
So RPG, how did you feel when you played it and you're like, this is the most popular game in gaming right now?
I felt addicted to it. I should be checked into rehab.
It's funny, like, well, no, we did play Call of Duty when it was popular, so never mind. But yeah, once again, it's like, we don't really play any of the most popular games on Earth.
We don't. We're like so behind on the time, guys.
It's not about popularity, Tropical. What are you talking about? Jeez.
It's always about popularity.
Like, back in the day, when Madden was the most popular game on Earth. Was it ever? Maybe? It was like Madden, World of Warcraft,
Man, when World of Warcraft was like at its peak, none of us played it.
Yeah.
Because it was on PC, and it's like
weird. Like
PC gamers.
we definitely play good games, but you know, talking about what everyone is playing, like we're not playing those games.
F your popularity. F it in the B.
Well, I think the thing with like Fortnite and like going forward with like mobile stuff that's cross-play on other platforms and mobile, it's like I think that's the stuff that's going to be like, it's free to play, so obviously you don't have to pay to play it, and then since it's on, you know, mobile, it's just got like an instant, if it does get hot, it has like an instant super fan base, maybe if it's like popular and people actually, you know, play it for a long sustained period of time, but I'm not into those games, so especially if they're like PvP focused, like Fortnite. It's like, yeah, been there, done that, no thanks. So
Fortnite it's just crazy what they've done though. It's just like, it's been less than 12 months, and I think they've gotten what, 12 million people playing it. It's insane. Oh, I did. Yeah, that's right. I played Fortnite a little bit on Switch, and well, there's a whole thing there, but it really is. I'm sort of like, wait, if I have a PS4, why would I play it? Like, it's clearly inferior on Switch. I don't know. It's strange.
You would play it because reasons.
So I can sit on my porch and play it?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that.
I guess that might be kind of fun.
It wouldn't be. But I mean, you know, who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
what else have you been playing RPG?
I've also been playing Vampire because I picked that up when it came out, and it's an interesting little game made by the people who made Life is Strange. Don't nod. But don't worry, there aren't any teenage girls that can control time in there. Not yet, anyway. It may happen later, but for now, it's not a thing. But it's I guess it's supposed to be like an action RPG is what they classified it as. But I'm not entirely sure, because I mean, you do have like a stat system and everything, and you do have like abilities and everything that you can get, like vampiric abilities and all this stuff. But the cost is kind of high, which I mean basically encourages you to eat people, which I think is probably not a good thing, because it's like, well, I'm trying to be good and you want me to eat people? I mean, you're really not helping your case here. So basically, the way the game works is it's like you're this guy, you wake up and then you're a vampire. You accidentally eat your sister, and then
After you wake up,
yes, you accidentally eat your sister, and then you're all like, oh no, I ate my sister. Why would I eat my sister? And then now you're like on this whole revenge thing because someone technically made you eat your sister, and you're like, how dare you make me eat my sister, whoever you are. So then as you start to stumble through the town that you live in or wake up in or escape to or whatever, you start to hear voices, and you're like, voices in my head, who are you? Are you the person that made me? And then the voices in your head don't answer, obviously, because they're voices in your head. It'd be weird if they did. So then you're all like, I'm just gonna go scramble through town, I guess, as I wonder who it is that turned me into what I am today. And then after that, you meet a doctor, and he's all like, I have a cross, and you're like, oh my god, a cross! But then he puts it down, and then he's like, yeah, I'm just a guy investigating, vampires. And he's like, so we want to work together? And he's like, I guess. So then he invites you to work at his hospital full of sick people waiting to be eaten, which is a terrible idea because it's like, hey, you remember I'm a vampire, right? And he's like, it's cool because if people start disappearing, everybody's going to be all like, oh, what's going on, vampire? So, that'll keep you in check. He's wrong. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, this is fine. This is all fine. So during the game, you talk to these people and you kind of investigate these various going-ons in the city that you live in. But each of the districts have like a kind of like a status to them. So the ones that are like in dire need of saving or like all kinds of unnatural going-ons have their statuses are like very bad, kind of, and then like in places where you have a lot of people that are saved, it's like stable or healthy and things like that. Meanwhile, there's also like this whole plague going around, so that's why they need doctors. So you kind of get away with the fact that you were a medic before you got turned into a vampire. So he hires you and you're all like, I'm a doctor now, and everybody's all like, I know you're famous, because apparently you're famous in this universe. So they know of him because he invented things like blood transfusion and stuff like that. But so they know of him, and then he's all like, people know me. So but this thing, so there's this mechanic in the game where it's like, as you talk to people, you gain hints about other people, and like the more hints you have about somebody, the more delicious they become. So it's like they give you more experience. So initially somebody may start off where it's like, oh, they're only worth like 500 experience, but as you like cure them of their fatigue and learn about their lives, like this one guy has kids and all this other nonsense, then they become more delicious because you know more about them. So now their blood is tastier and they're healthy, and it's like they give you a big experience boost. So it's like there's like some people that are worth like, because there's a few people I've already maxed out knowing about them, so they're worth like 3,000 experience and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm going to eat you soon. But the way to do it is, though, you have to have you have to hypnotize them, so that way you can take them away into like a dark place to bite them in private. So in order to do that, you have to like raise your mesmerize level up, and their level has to be like below yours in order for it to work. But then when it is, then you can just lead them into like some dark alley or something, and they'll be under your control, and then you can bite them and eat them. And then they're delicious.
Why do you keep saying eat them? Vampires just bite people, RPG.
Eat them is how they refer to it in the game.
Oh, okay, so I'm like,
that
what
is how
RPG going on about eating people? Vampires don't eat people, they bite people.
Those are ghouls.
They're talking about devouring them, so they're like, yes, you are eating people, you are a monster. But then there's other vampire. You run into this other lady who's also a vampire, and she's like, I just want to live my life, man. But she's also eating people. But she justifies it because she only eats bad people, so it's okay. But I mean, it's like, do you, vampire lady? Do you? So that's kind of how that's been going so far. So aside from the story elements, there's actual combat elements to it. Now the combat's kind of like because it's I don't know. I guess it's because it's a don't nod game and they did Life is Strange and that's not really like a combat kind of thing, so it's kind of like not the bestest of combat. There are some satisfying things you can do because I mean like I said, you can get vampiric abilities like the ability to like shoot blood spheres and like make small shadow explosions and turn yourself invisible and stuff and turn into mist and all this weird stuff. It's like the classic Dracula powers, so you can do that kind of stuff, which is cool. But again, it costs like a butt ton of experience. So the game kind of encourages you to eat people, but at the same time, they're like, don't eat people. It's bad because if you do, bad things will happen. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm either going to be a cool vampire or I'm going to be this weak sauce doctor guy. I mean, like, what do you think I'm going to choose? So it's one of those things where it's like, as soon as I start getting my mesmeric level up, I'm going to start just eating everybody. And then hopefully I have a wide array of superpowers because reasons. I fought some people. I fought like a couple of bosses so far, and it's kind of difficult to do when you don't have cool powers. So I'm gonna have to kill people, even though they told me not to. So, way to go, game. Way to go against your message of not being a monster. So, yeah. So that's pretty much Vampire, and then The Lost Child came out today, so I picked that up, but I haven't like played a bunch of it yet. But but it takes place in that universe with the thing, the El Shaddai thingy. That one takes place in that universe. I think that came out for the PS3 some time ago.
It's a Russian game.
Yeah, so it takes place in that universe, which is I said so like it has like the background story about the whole war between heaven and the fallen right now, and then Cthulhu's there for some reason, and then there's other stuff going on, so it's like
What?
so it's like it's so that's happening, but the game itself is kind of like a semi RPG, I guess. There's some dungeon crawling elements, but it's similar to like the earlier Shin Megami Tensei games with the exploration and everything. And then there's like the main guy that you're playing as is kind of like a reporter or whatever. So he gets like these investigations that he has to go on and hears rumors about strange happenings in the cities in Japan, and then he has to investigate them. So he's like investigating ghost stories that people hear, like these sudden. And there's been like a surge in subway suicides or something, where there's a lot of people jumping on the train tracks or whatever. So it's like the primary investigation. So that's the thing right now. But yeah, I haven't played a lot of it, so I'm not that far in it yet. But there's like demon capturing elements and things like that. So. Lots is lots, and that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Okie dokie.
Also eating people.
Is the art style in Lost Child the same as El Shaddai, or is it different?
It's very different.
Oh, okay. I never had a cool art style, but it's different, so whatever.
It's very different. Very, very different.
Okie dokie then. Moving on to the middle segment.
Eating people.
You're not eating people. Also, what are the odds of 2 Animekus or Kanemikus games in the same week?
Right.
So what's the middle segment, Tropical?
The aftermath of E3. So we did a long 5-hour E3 All of the Things podcast. If you didn't hear that, you should check that out.
Like hella long.
Yeah, basically, scheduling didn't work out the same way that it usually does during this time of year, and so
Like,
instead of
fortunately,
doing
unfortunately situation where it's like, well, on the downside, we couldn't do get reactions, but on the good side, we did them all at once, and it was epic. We out here chasing money. Sorry, I'm gonna use that forever. That's like my new thing. It's like money to your boy money. Is like, yep, add it to the list.
But yeah, like that we did that on Tuesday, and E3 ended on Thursday, and then once again it's Tuesday. So there's been another week of not news necessarily, but the if you watched live shows or anything, you may have seen some stuff, and then of course the excitement of E3 sometimes causes people to buy things, and
Optical.
yeah, that's what this middle segment is about. Any sort of E3 wrap up, the rest of the experience, and all that.
So did anybody else hear any biblical tales of the amazing, outstanding, immaculate Cyberpunk 2077
Cyberpunk?
demo?
Actually, not that much. I didn't hear because I saw lots of them, but then since they were all just like people's impressions of what they saw behind closed doors, I was kind of like less interested than watching ones that I could actually see the games from. So not so much. What was there? All I know is like it's first person, and it looks really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I heard there's like a something about the character creator thing, and it's like your special stats and all this stuff. But I didn't really like look too much into the article, so
Oh.
I don't.
Well, I'll save it because basically it's just, if Deus Ex was like 1,000 times better than what it is, and like, looked 1,000 times better, and had like CD Projekt Red quality of character choice, and I guess apparently multi-tiered story missions that like dovetail on each other or something. It was crazy. It was, or like from what I heard, it's just like there's a lot of stuff going on as far as like this is a bunch of side quests in one mission, but it's just one mission, and it's like there's so much stuff going on, and just like the detail in the environments and the characters and the dialogue, and then like the whole shepherd situation where it's like you're V but you're like a dude or a lady, and it's like, oh, you can be either one, and then like your skills that you get and your stats, it's just like there's a lot, and like your fashion, because I guess like your jacket that you wear, like the samurai jacket in the trailers, like depending on like what jacket you're wearing, like depends on your skills and like the driving.
Your cool stat.
Yep, it's just there's a lot going on, and you can like do drugs apparently, and like I can't remember what it's called, but like it slows down time or something, and like it's
The most important aspect of it.
a really cool effect, and just I would say watch the Easy Allies take. It's like they have this impressions. There's like I watched 2 of them, and then I watched like some other. I think I watched like 2 more. And I was like, okay, that's enough Cyberpunk because it's just people talking about this presentation. But believe, dudes and ladies, because it's a coming, and it's like I have not heard the rumblings of like something like this at E3 for like a long time. So I mean, that being said, I don't really like look for like people to like talk about behind closed doors presentations or whatever. So it's like whatever. So, but that was like, yeah, that was like, man, I just kept seeing like like I guess I was on YouTube, and I was on, well, I guess not so much on Twitter, but like you see the little thingy on the side of people just like suggested, or like similar to like what you're watching, and it's just like people just like losing their minds about the Cyberpunk presentation. And I watched this like really short one of like this dude that I'm not subscribed to, just like watch their videos from time to time, and they're just like, Cyberpunk presentation blew my mind. It was like 5 minutes of just like, I don't even know what I saw, man. It was amazing. My mind was blown. It was just, yeah, people just succumbing to the hype of E3 and just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, Cyberpunk, yeah, just, we don't know when it's coming, but whenever it comes out, man. If it's before or after Death Stranding, I think it's going to be after. So it's like 2022, 2021. Who knows? It's going to be like years off, because there's no way it's like next year. Possibly the year after. Probably not, though, because they're taking their sweet time. So, but it does exist. Also, there's like a story from US Gamer that they put out like the specs of the PC running, and it was like, I think $900 or $2,000. I can't. It was high. I think it was $2,000 to like buy that PC. So, yeah. It was like, but then that is going to be on PS4, so not next, or maybe it'll be cross-gen, maybe it'll be like on current gen and next gen at the same time, like GTA 5 was, and then you can play a non-gimped version on next gen, since Scarlet is apparently a thing, because that's the whole. That's just weird, man. To me, is like the fact that like Microsoft's like the most powerful console ever. By the way, we're working on next gen. It's called Scarlet. It's like, but didn't you just say about Xbox One X, like, so you can make awesome games because it's the most powerful? Whatever, dude. I have no idea what's going on over there. It's like, I think they're just like in a corner, just trying to like pushing all the buttons after like RPGs like many times making the joke of like you walk into a room and people are just like throwing papers, screaming and like scrambling around. It's like nothing's working, and just like now they're just like, you know what, all the power. And then it's like, okay, this isn't working, we need games, buy everything. Okay, not everything, just start throwing money at people, start throwing money at people that make the things, and we need to make a thing. We don't need another scale bound situation. So it's like that was egg on our face. We don't need more egg on our face. We need games, man.
Egg.
So it's like if we don't get any more like, you know, sweet first party Xbox games before Scarlet, it's like I think Chadwick was right as far as like, you know, they're putting all their eggs in the basket for next gen to just be like, oh yeah, you wanted games? We're gonna launch with a ton of games. But then it's like maybe they like went too far and they're like, you know what, we don't even care anymore. We're like, we don't even care to the point of like deterrence of like losing console, I mean sorry, not console, but share, market share, and $900 for a console because look at the graphics, look at the games, you're gonna want this. You pay this much for a phone, all the things you can do on Xbox Scarlet. Or, well, we need to make an internal name for that since it's obviously not gonna be called Scarlet since Scorpio wasn't called Scorpio, but Xbox 1-2 or 1-2-12, whatever.
I want to be the Xbox Z or something.
Xbox Z. On Xbox Z, it's all about the awesomeness. Look at this. You're gonna pay for it. But then again, like, you know, they had like one S and an X, so it's like maybe it'll be Xbox E, and it's like, oh,
Haha,
the
Xbox
X.
X.
Oh.
LOLs.
But then they did say like Xboxes, so
This
I guess
isn't
they'll
Tesla.
So it's like again they'll have the multi-tier SKU going on. So it's like, yeah, I guess. Maybe it'll be colors this time. It's like red and green, or blue, and, or other colors are green and black. So black and green. It's like green is expensive because money. Ha, I get it. And then black is oh, that's a terrible joke. Oh yeah. So okay, so yeah, back to post E3 stuff. Besides that, the whole
I didn't know where it was going until you said
I
that.
was just about to
well,
say. I was like,
I didn't even know where it was going, and I said, and I was like, oh, I guess if green is the money, black's the other one. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'll just not say the thing. Moving on.
So actually, yeah, I think Microsoft is they're going all in on the next generation, and I think they're gonna try everything they possibly can to launch a year before whatever the next PlayStation is.
Is that going to matter though? Like,
I think that they think it will matter. I mean, the 360, when it came out a year before the other two,
oh yeah,
they
that's
talked
right.
a lot about whoever makes it to 10 million ahead wins. And then, well, I guess it didn't turn out that way that generation either. Still.
But then it's like you have like the whole like net neutrality situation, and then like that could like disrupt the whole like streaming thing that they want to do if like, you know, if that doesn't turn out well, since we kind of lost that battle, and the infrastructure is still not there to like be like awesome streaming games all the time, except, you know, if you're getting throttled or you're on the pay highway of like pay more gamers, haha. That could.
I mean, I guess the thing is that, like, remember, like, they just don't care about us. They do care about money. You know, so if Microsoft, like, remember with 360 there was all this, or no, it was with the Xbox One before it came out. There was all this talk about, like, oh, maybe they're gonna do like a deal with cable companies, whereas like, oh, if you subscribe to cable, you get a cheap Xbox One because it's all about watching TV and sports. And so, yeah, like, that was one of the things that everyone thought maybe they'll do this thing.
See, but
So those kind of deals could arise if, Darkest Timeline.
Darkness.
So for Xbox Game Pass, do you need Xbox Live Gold to like use that?
You do not.
Okay.
You can just get Game Pass.
So I was about to say that is actually a pretty good strategy to
It
have
is.
just like the game vault and then like get an instant game collection situation and then just like buy the Xbox. It's like Sega Channel Now Edition.
Yep. I always thought PlayStation 4 should do that. Like, I don't think there's any reason to mandatory like everyone has to pay just to play online. Like at the time, instant game collection was good enough that I think people would pay for that just to get that. Of course, it has changed. Like instant game collection or like PlayStation Plus games now is not as good as instant game collection was. And I think that's because like Xbox also offers it now, and so the deals that they were able to get early on, it's harder to get those now. But yeah, I think there was no reason to make it mandatory. People would have just gotten it just to get the games.
See, it's weird because like there was a Gamma Sutra article this week where it was like 66% of console. I don't know if it's console players or just gamers in general like prefer physical over digital, which is weird to me. So it's like because we see all these moves being made as far as like all the publishers are going there too. It's like with the EA subscription thing, Ubisoft's like we're going to do a subscription thing. So it's like that is like where things are headed on that side. But if you look at like the user base, it's like they're still entrenched in like physical media, and, like wanting to have like the physical thing like RPG. So I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
40%
like
is not
stuff.
like small. Like that's a pretty significant percentage. But I think it's a lot bigger than during the PS3 era, definitely. And I wonder, well, so what do you guys think about this? Like everyone is getting their own subscription service. First of all, like why? Nintendo fought for years, like saying we're not going to make mobile games because mobile games, they devalue games. Like once your games are all the way down to free, then everyone expects all games to be free. So they look at a Mario game and it's $60. They're like, that's too expensive. It should cost nothing. I just want to play Mario games for free now. And like Game Passes are not free, but it's like if they feel like the games are free because you're paying, this one lump sum at one time. Like I think what the EA Premier one is like $100 for a year, right?
Yeah.
You do that one time, and then for the rest of the year, you don't even really remember that. Like it feels like you're just getting free games, even though you did pay for them. And then, like, doesn't that devalue all the games, or is it becoming a situation where like, yeah, now games have to, even console games now have to be seemingly free for people to actually play them?
That's a good point. I mean, I think they just look at like the different models that are out there. Like if you look at like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and they just look at like the subscription base and like the amount of like profit margins that those corporations are making, and they're like, well, we could do this with our game libraries and like make more probably in the long run with like subscription models versus like just selling box copies or whatever, selling units of like single games. It's like at the end of the day, it's like we'll make more money because we're making money off of more people versus like the people that would like buy the game. They'll be like, they'll be locked into this service, and we'll be making money constantly over time. Versus like maybe they'll buy Assassin's Creed, but they won't buy The Crew or The Division. It's like they're a fan of the series, but not like all the games that we make out or put out, and like we can just somehow subsidize this to where we're always making money. Versus like it's having to like edge your bets on like constantly like on the franchise situation that we've had this gen where it's like everything's a franchise now and like you don't have any new IP, and maybe that's like what they're thinking is like instead of doing that, they can do this new subscription thing and be maybe not more successful, but like it's just a way to like be as successful and like hedge your bets and like not have this boom and bust of like, oh man, oh man, gosh, what was the name? Watch Dogs 2. It's like everybody was just like scared away because after Watch Dogs 1, it's like, yeah, no things passed, dude. Like been burned once, Ubisoft not coming back to you as our ass. It's like, how can we keep them and like not let them get away from us once we've done something and like they won't come back to us. All those Assassin's Creed 3 users are just like, nah man, not coming back.
Nah, bro. Nah.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's hard to say because we don't really know what the numbers are, but I mean, surely they're doing this because it's going to give them better numbers. And I'm just trying to understand, like, how can that be? For the Watch Dogs 2 situation, well, like, not even talking about developers, because developers themselves just want lots of people to play the game. But like the publishers and like the money people, like how does this work out? Because $100 that's like a $60 game and a $40 game, and we know that the majority, like a lot of EA, like Madden customers buy one Madden game every year, so that's $60. And so would they look at this and be like, oh, if I pay $100, then I get Madden, and then I can check out all those other games that I normally wouldn't buy because I don't feel like I'm gonna pay, like I'm gonna play them that much. So is it like that extra $40 that's the benefit that they're getting from this? Or because like it doesn't work for a person like me, where it's like $100 for all the EA games of the year. That's like $500, $600 of games. Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
That's funny because like that is why I signed up for Twitch Prime. It's like I did that because it was such a good deal. Like 5 free games a month for this price? Are you insane? Here, take my money. So it's like, that is good. That's a good question. It's like, how are they? Yeah, I have no idea.
Like I don't understand how it works. Like it has to be better, otherwise it makes no sense to do it. But it's like, how can it be better? Maybe there are just very few people like me who are like, yes, or maybe it's EA. There are few people who treat EA in that way. It's like, yes, I'm going to buy every single EA game that comes out this year. And there's like, well, we're not losing many people like that because there aren't many people like that. But we might gain a whole bunch of people who are like, I pay $60 a year. But for $100, I can play the game that I was going to buy for $60 anyway. And for $40, I can try every single other game that they're going to release.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's also a possibility like with all the pushback from microtransactions. It's like, well, we can't just do that now, so we have to figure something else out.
Microtransactions were such a strange thing. Like loot, I think a loot crate in Overwatch is like $2 or $2. Is it $2? Maybe, I don't know. And the thing about loot crates I always thought was weird is like blind bags. Blind bags in America cost like $5 each. And I was like, that seems wrong to me. Like, isn't the point of a blind bag so people can buy a lot of them? Like, usually if there's like just a collection and you release the collection, they can only buy however many things are in the collection. But with blind bags, occasionally they will get an extra one of something that they already have. And if they're collectors, they're going to buy more to get the whole collection. But if you make each one $5, then they're not going to do that because it's like, that's too much. And microtransactions, like, it started like with horse armor. It started out weird where it's like, oh, for nickels and dimes, we're going to get more content for our games. And then it came out and it was like I don't remember what horse armor cost, but it was a lot for such a small thing. It's like, the first microtransaction like set it up really weird, and it was more about, let's see how much money we can get out of them for as little work as possible. And so now it does kind of feel like it's sort of flipping over. It's like, okay, how do we show people ridiculous looking value, but actually we will be making more money than we were doing it before.
I think that actually is weird because it's like it seems like it's become like cosmetic only, and like you can probably just like make those skins so easily that it's just like go to work, concept artists, make it rain. People will buy these to $1, and we'll make hundreds of them, and it's a profit deal. And some like execs just like licking his lips of like, yes, do it. Profits, yes.
I mean, I guess the other way that it helps EA even. And, definitely I think if they do get more money this way somehow is how their math works out. But also, a lot of games are online now. Like, online games are better when there's more people playing online. And if you can't convince people to buy your games to fill up that player population, then something like this helps you build that player population, which keeps the people who actually wanted to buy the game. Because they're having a better time with more people. I think like when Xbox announced the Game Pass, I was like, I think that's definitely why they did it, because Sea of Thieves, if it's all empty, it's gonna suck.
Oh yeah, good point. It's like an artificial way of like inflating the numbers of a community that's like just give people the game. Someone always has a game to play.
That's why I think that like Battle Royale for just any game is kind of a risk. It's sort of like what happened with multiplayer. Back when they were tacking on multiplayer to everything, it didn't work out because it was like, well, yes, I could play Homefront multiplayer, but I could just as easily play Call of Duty multiplayer, and you know what? I'm going to do that. And so there was like all these multiplayer modes that came out, but far fewer people were playing them because, well, Call of Duty. And today, like Battle Royale, like is a totally different story. Like it's kind of the same, except that you need 100 players per game to make it fun. It's not 10 or 12 anymore; it's 100. And so, if every game becomes a Battle Royale game, like
man, that would be insane.
Some will be amazing queue experiences, at least, and then others will just be like terrible. I'm just waiting for the games to start and like looking for other players all the time. I wonder how many I wonder how many of the population can support. Like, we have two. Well, we actually have like 4 or 5 different Battle Royale games right now. I guess it seems to be okay so far, but we know Call of Duty is doing one. Battlefield, I guess, is doing one. Realm Royale came out recently.
I've never heard of.
I don't know how this is gonna work. Yeah, like those, like Call of Duty, like how are they gonna do it? Well, I guess Call of Duty is probably fine because they still sell a lot of copies. But any other games who are trying to get into Battle Royale, like now, it's gonna be hard.
Well, actually, if you think about it, if it is cross-play with like mobile though, and it's free to play,
maybe
not. I mean, it still is, but like not necessarily just because it is like free game. Please play our game. It's free. Don't have to pay any money. So there's that.
Man, I hope. Yeah, with all these Game Pass game subscription type things, like I hope console gaming doesn't get to the point where it is a race to the bottom.
Ugh. See but that's the thing is like I think on the one hand I could see like as far as like multiplayer PvP experiences, I see that is like a future because it's like you can just do that and then put like microtransactions up the wazoo for cosmetic crap.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I would still see like Sony first party like amazing single player story driven experiences like being a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so it's like
that's true.
It's like like I could see like a future where like these all coexist and they're all a thing, but it's like it's like kind of it is now already, but
Actually,
I don't think any of them will like wipe each other out and be like, oh yes, this is all that exists now, because you're always gonna have people that want a different experience than like whatever's the flavor of the month.
It got really it did get really weird, I guess. Like even mobile now, like the pay for games are doing pretty well on mobile, whereas there was a time when it was like your game can't cost anything, because if it costs anything, it's not going to get enough downloads to be featured on the most downloaded page, and then no one will even know your game exists. But then now, I mean, maybe mobile like ruined the word free so much that people don't mind paying money anymore.
Get what you pay for.
Because it got really bad. So bad. And now it's like, oh, you can sell your game on mobile and people will buy it just so they don't have a terrible experience. Perhaps console games will be okay. Or will they? Seems unlikely that, race to the bottom. Although it kind of sometimes feels like it. Well, it was weird. Remember, like, Drawn to Death and Lawbreakers? Like, both of them were announced as free-to-play games. They were going to be free-to-play, multiplayer-focused shooters. And then, yeah, the reasoning was like, oh, we need like big player populations because we're multiplayer shooters, and if there's small populations, this thing we were talking about earlier. But then both of them came out as paid games. At some point in there, like, even I think in mobile land it changed, where it was like, people don't want free games anymore because none of these, like, free has been ruined. None of these things are free. They just say that. It's like the first hit is free.
Like a true drug dealer.
So yeah, I guess that's an interesting thing. Looking forward to see what happens there. Did you guys go out and pre-order and buy stuff?
I did on accident because I had an issue. Well, I didn't have an issue. I thought I had more money in my PSN wallet than I had, and I added $20 because I wanted to get Resident Evil 7 Gold for $30 because it was on sale on the Days of Play or E3 sale or whatever. Man, they had like 2 really good sales going like concurrently, and it was like really annoying because it's like there's a ton of stuff on sale. And it's like I'm really trying to like rein in. I've done a good job too of like buying a bunch of crap and it's on sale, and so I added $20 to my wallet, thinking of like, oh, I have 30, and I didn't. And I was like, oh, well, I could just add another 20 and get it. But then I'm like, well, I have enough to pre-order Walking Dead's final season. And I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to do it. So I did. And then I was like, all right, let me let me add $20. And then somehow magically Amazon ran out of PSN codes at like the $20 denomination. And they only had like 60, or I think it was like 50 and 60. No, it was like, it was weird, dude. It was like 60 and 75. Possibly were like the only ones that they had, and I was like, dude, really? Like, I was like, wow, people must like really ran out and like got a bunch of stuff either pre-ordered or just like bought on sale like after E3, and I was like, thanks everybody, thanks. And I was like, well, I don't want to spend this much, so let me just add add 220s to my account from GameStop.
I was not even aware there were 75s that you could get.
Yeah,
Either actually.
And then like the annoying thing was like I just wanted to add like a bit. Like I would have just added like a couple of tens because that's like the lowest that they have there because it's like Tekken's a tight wad and likes to save money. And of course like everything that's like super low is like not available. And I was like what? Whatever. And so I'm like whatever, GameStop, let's give me my $40. And it's like, okay, Tekken, but here's the catch: you bought 2, and we can only give you 1 because you triggered the anti-fraud protection on your account. It's like really like, so I had to like wait a whole day to do that, and I finally was able to get Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. And then like before that all happened, I had added money, which is why I thought I had enough money to get effing that without adding too much, because I added some to get the $50 gold, or not gold, PS Plus, because it was like on sale for 50 in the Days of Play, and I was like, well, I might as well do this while I'm doing this. So that happened too. So I ended up with my gold renewed, or plus renewed, and New Walking Dead pre-ordered, which got me the collection, which is awesome because it's all the games in one collection. So I'm gonna crack out on that eventually before the final season. And Resident Evil 7 Gold because I am hyped for 2 remake. Because man, I don't get tired of watching that gameplay or that trailer. Just I want it to be January now, and then cannot wait to see Ada, what she looks like in the game. I can't wait to see all the things, man. Mr. X, effing William Birkin, and his tyrant. Man, that tyrant to me is like iconic because that one was kind of hard when it gets to like a weird form and just like is coming at you, and it's like, oh, okay, this is happening. And then yeah, I'm really excited of like what I saw about the Zapper system as far as like them having like the scenarios that are like super focused and not just back and forth. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like that before. I'm just saying like they can like that's it's like the modern version of RE2 is like going to be like legit modern of like, oh, you're going to play with Leon until the end and then play Claire and then see how they line up and match up. So super hyped for that. And I also that day when I went to work, I left my PS4 in suspend mode and downloaded RE4 and 5 because I wanted to play Mercenaries because I was super pumped. And then only to find out 4 does not have Mercenaries unlocked from the start. So that's the thing I need to play through as well after I finish God of War to get that unlocked. But 5 and 6 have them unlocked. So you just don't have all the characters in 6, and then 5 you have all the characters, which is cool. But then I was like, I want to play as Leon because I've been seeing a lot of Leon in RE2. So, but then I was like, well, that's cool, but now I want to play as Ada, so I'll play as Leon a bit, and then play through the entire game to get Ada. And she's like, the last campaign in the order that you play them in. I was like, I'm not just gonna play through Ada because that'd be weird, because context. And I kind of want to stream it to like people that have not played this game and seen how the series has evolved. And I can finally play 7, so that's nice too. And then my VR is like boxed up though, so eventually I will need to go through it in VR and wet myself. And yeah, see how see what happens, what exactly happens in 7 and how that goes down. So looking forward to that.
I was going to, but then the other GameStop person was working, so I was like, I'll wait. I don't want you to get my pre-orders because then you probably will get rewarded for it, so I'll wait until the good one's back.
It's so funny because like, I was watching RP's Twitter feed and he was like tweeting about like UPS like mishandling some package he was waiting for.
Yeah.
So it's like RPG's just like not having good luck. It's like he goes to GameStop to pre-order something and like they don't have it, or like the person there is like not the right one, and then like UPS is like all effing up his, or whoever it was, like effing up his order or something. I was like, man,
Yeah, UPS
RPG really
is on my
can't.
list now.
RPG really can't like indulge in e-commerce like the rest of us can, and just skip the middleman. And for some reason, he just doesn't buy digital, whatever. So I don't know.
I don't believe in digital.
I don't believe in digital. I was actually almost pre-ordered that Kingdom Hearts 3 collection with like $100 for like all of them, but I was like,
It's such a good deal, though.
It is a really good deal, actually.
Like, if you don't have any of them, it's a really good deal.
because like I just like my Twitter feed just like blew up with that. But I was like, I don't care about this series. But then I was like, it'll pass, Tegan, it'll pass, and it did. And I was like, phew, that was $100 I saved. So yeah.
Because I was going to get it, but then I was like, well, I mean, I already technically have all of them, so it would kind of defeat the purpose to buy them. But at the same time, I don't have them all on one console. So
I think I do have all of them on PS4. It's just like,
You probably do, Tropical.
this
You
doesn't
probably
I
make
would not
any
be surprised.
sense. Well, because they sold 1.5, 2.5 as a box, right, for PS4.
Yeah,
And
eventually
then
yes.
2.8 was PS4 only. So I'm disappointed too that they didn't do like a weird number.
I am disappointed
For
with the
the
naming.
entire
Like
thing,
very
yeah.
disappointed because I was like, guys, you were doing so well, and now this is so normal.
These are the guys who came up with Dream Drop Distance and 1.2
And then 358 over 2
and
days. And
358
all, it was just like, guys, really? All
the
in one?
complete
This is
package.
the best
That's
you
it?
got.
All in one.
So disappointed. So disappointed.
They should have wrote all in one in symbols.
Yes, I would have accepted that.
That's how they should have done it.
But they didn't. Missed opportunity, man. Missed opportunity.
Symbols.
Or it's like just a one
Hieroglyphics.
with a circle around it.
They should just got weird with it. Like,
Some like
I mean,
Kingdom Hearts
nothing to lose.
lore language that doesn't exist written in it. There's no
They
like
could have just,
actual
or they could
human
just made some
language.
weird name or something. It would have worked. It would have worked.
But yeah, some like Twitter or like the hype had manifested into like some invisible feather, and it was like tickling me, and I was like, getting hyped, Hachoo! And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm good. And then I looked at the release schedule or the release calendar, and I was like, man, October, that's a killer month. And then like February 22nd next year is like, yeah, so
February 22nd last year.
those are the next 2 to look out for. I mean, October is like a bunch of games, but the only one I care about is Red Dead in that month, so it's like, yeah. I saw a funny meme too about it, where it's like the Rogue One scene with like all the rebellion soldiers getting murdered by Darth Vader at the end of the movie. And it's like all the games coming out that month, and it's like Darth Vader's like faces like the red box. I mean, sorry, the Red Dead box. And it's like all the other games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, blah blah blah. It's like October. It's like Red Dead comes in to kill them all, cause yeah. Oh, that was funny.
Seems about right.
I just like want to know, man. Like, how does all the games like it's like February 22nd, February 22nd, February. It's like, how does that happen? Is it?
I
Is it because of
mean,
financials, quarterly?
I think
profit
I was
deals?
just about to say because it's like
Money for your blood
it is
money.
towards the end of like the fiscal year, I guess. So
It's like how
it's
can
like
we
they don't
maximize
they
our
have the
profits?
time, have to make sure they like still make the fiscal year, but at the same time avoid any type of dangerous competition.
So let's all put our game out on the same day. Because it's like we're not the only ones to think of this, right? Right? Whatever. But then I guess they all believe in their products, so why would they not delay them? So it's like,
Although aren't
sorry,
most of them
Anthem,
like
I'll be playing Days Gone that day, and then I'll hear what the hype has to say about you.
they're like all different genres though, so I mean they might be okay. Some of them anyway.
Oh, I did hear a cool, or not a cool, but like I did hear some impressions about the Days Gone demo, which was the when they first showed it, and it was just like a bunch of zombies, just like the horde, that stage or that section or that part of the game. That sounds really cool too. So
The freakers.
the freakers. I'm even more looking forward to that. And there's different types, and like they eat each other or something weird, like the whole ecosystem.
Well,
in that game.
apparently they're not like zombies. Apparently they're still alive because they need to like drink and eat to live. So maybe it's just some kind of weird virus that makes them cuckoo banana pants.
Guess we'll find out in February.
Well, you might. I'm not going to buy it. So.
I am Legend.
Oh, it could be like I Am Legend. Yeah, I'm not buying it. It's not that I don't want it. I just don't want it. That makes sense. So.
Oh, yeah, and like Destiny Forsaken and Spider-Man are in like the same week, or like like a couple days apart, and I was like, really? I finally warm back up to Destiny, and then Spider-Man's like Tekken, hey, hey, buddy. So yeah,
What you doing?
luckily only pre games now, and they're like a week out, so August I'll be getting those. Yeah. Or adding them to the list. Or pushing the pre-order now button, whatever. Which is only a couple months away, which is, I think something comes out in August. Oh yeah, Walking Dead final season, August, so, that's only a couple months away, so. I cannot wait. I mean, there's no, Wolf Among Us season 2, but, there's always next year. Which I'm sure, because next year's so loaded, why would it not be next year?
Please be excited.
Oh, I am excited.
So yeah, my pre-order plans are kind of delayed.
Yeah, and then there was like a deal at GameStop for like trading in towards the Switch. You could get $300 off or something. And I was like, I almost did it because I was like, this is exactly why I have a third PS4. But then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Tegan, we don't have enough details here on this online being a virtual console. I mean, yes, yes, Octopath Traveler looks like, but
It does look cool.
we kind of have enough on our plate right now, so you should just not do this. Don't. No, it's a drop. Okay, yeah, and I didn't. So, and it's hot outside, and it's like it's summer. It's like I don't like to go outside because it's hot. I mean, that's an understatement. It's like skin melting off skeleton hot, and it's
My.
It's like I don't want to do this to myself right now, which is why I haven't seen Solo. So it's like eventually it'll be like 80, and like not in the 90s, which is like when you get in your car, it's like hundreds, and you're baking. And it's like, yeah, let's just wait until then. So, maybe tomorrow when it's 80 degrees, and I'll finally see Solo. So I'll be happy. Finally.
Wow. I surprisingly pre-ordered nothing.
What? Wow. I was expecting some
and
Tropical
bought
story.
nothing.
Wow, double
I
surprised.
know.
Tropical's
That
a good
happened.
play. Good.
Well, like maybe it was the heat, but it's actually hasn't been that hot. Maybe I'm old now. And it's just like
Maybe I'm old now.
instead of like going out and being like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. My first thought was like, oh, nostalgia, and it feels like living in the tropics again. But yeah, I ended up buying nothing, and just played a bunch of Diablo, and it was like, is this progress? I do have a lot of games I haven't played yet. So yeah,
And
this
maybe
must be
you're trying
progress.
to replicate your success with Detroit, where you actually go and buy it, bring it home and play it, and then you're like, oh, finish the game. What do you know, Todd? We do too.
Oh, I did do that. Wow.
Trying to stay on the horse or whatever they say.
Yeah, I guess like God of War I haven't opened yet, so there's that. And I really like God of War too. I can't believe it.
I had time to get God of War and beat it already, and you still haven't even opened yours. Get it
I know.
together.
Insane.
Get it together, Tropical.
Yeah, even the really great sales that were going on last week, I didn't get anything from.
Man, I almost got another DualShock because I was like, I kind of like getting these, and I do like DualShock 4s.
Were they on
liked how
sale?
Yeah, they're $40.
they were on sale.
Crap, I wish I would have got one because my old controller's kind of acting up, so I'm like, oh no. I need
missed
one.
it.
But then I think my ones from last year I bought, or from Black Friday, I still haven't opened, so I still have like a silver and gold one sitting around, or like a spare gold one or something. It's like ridiculous because I have so many. I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm good. So yeah.
I don't remember. Well, I guess the PS3 had a bunch of colors. I think there's like way more colors. It
There
feels
are.
like now.
Because PS3 didn't have them.
Some of them they have like
Yeah.
patterns and stuff too, so
Yeah, and I was just like, this is cool. Like, I have too many black controllers, just like the regular controllers. That it's like, oh, it would be cool if all of my controllers were different colors.
See, I have that
I mean-
except for the ones that came with my PS4, and like I named them all. And like I always name the blue one Blue Bomber after Mega Man because it's just a thing I do. And then it's like every other one I name. So it's like the gold one's Osiris after the Destiny thing. And then unfortunately that DLC was disappointing, but whatever. I still use Osiris right now. So
I remember I used to use the military camo PS3 one to play scary games because I don't know, it was like, yeah,
your safety blanket
now it's
kind
less
of.
scary because I'm camouflaged. Yeah, I didn't really have anything like E3. The rest of the week, I had live shows playing all day, and then afterwards, I went back and watched like Nintendo Treehouse stuff. And man, Nintendo had tons of stuff. Like for
I was
me,
gonna say,
the
like,
rest
did
of
anybody watch Nintendo to see if they showed anything like last year? Because I was like, Smash Brothers, and completely just like tuned it out. It's like done.
yeah, like the year that they said it was gonna be all Breath of the Wild, like they actually did show other things. Like Sushi Striker was announced during one of those Treehouses live. And yeah, they showed like extensive gameplay from the new Mario Party. They did a whole bunch of the new Pokemon games they announced a few weeks ago, and they showed like Starlink, Mario Tennis Aces, which is coming out on Friday. They did a lot of like other shows. I mean, yes, there was a ton of Smash Bros. I think if you look on YouTube, there's up to part 8 or part 9 of Smash Brothers Ultimate gameplay. But yeah, they did other games, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then also, the tournaments were kind of fun to watch. I watched the Smash Brothers Invitational and the finals for the Splatoon World Championship, I think it's called. Yeah, they did a ton of video. For the rest of E3, I felt like this felt like one of those E3s we had a few years ago where basically the press briefings were everything, and then the stage shows were like the same few demos over and over again.
Yeah.
This was kind of like, this year felt kind of like that too. Like every stage seemed to be doing the same few games at different times. And so I would go around and say, oh, this is the same one, and this is the same one. The Sony show had a few that I didn't see anywhere else. But then they later released like direct feed gameplay, like Spider-Man,
dude.
Resident Evil 2.
Spider-Man. I fell in love with Spider-Man from demos I
Yeah,
saw. And
yeah.
I was like, I cannot. That dodge button mechanic, as far as it being like context sensitive
Yeah.
and like different stuff, like if you're going faster or slower, just like through the legs, over the head. I was like, and then my brain was just like tingling with like just anticipation of just like, yeah, I want to play this game. Oh my gosh, just like Arkham Killer. I'm gonna call it that because oh my gosh. The things you can do in that game.
Looks so good. Maybe in Resident Evil 2, I was like, wow, I do want to play this one. Like, it feels
Man,
different
Resident Evil 2,
than
dude, just
the old
what they
Resident
did
Evil
with that.
2.
It's like you will die from zombies. Like you will die from zombies.
Yeah,
Like,
oh yeah.
Resident Evil 2, classic. It's like zombies, whatever, dude. Just run around them. This one, you will die from zombies if they get a hold of you
Like-
anyway.
There's 2 zombies. Like, oh, this is bad.
Yes. It's like don't sleep on the zombies. They will kill you. They will kill you. All caps.
Oh my.
Like the
Um,
dude says, do not hesitate.
But yeah, it felt like a more subdued E3. There wasn't a whole bunch of games that you didn't see earlier. So like, not as exciting as like last year. Last year was really good. So I guess yeah, maybe that too. There was less. I didn't feel the hype ray. They missed me, and so I didn't pre-order anything.
It's also weird because it seems like Bethesda kind of didn't be as Bethesda-y with like the stuff that they showed coming out this year. So it's like they have more stuff coming out next year that they showed, which was weird, but you know. So I
Yeah,
can't,
and
can't
then
be like, just be
some-
like Bethesda, man. Just be like Bethesda, because Bethesda broke the rule. It's like Bethesda, you're not being your Bethesda self. Ah. It's like, come on, man.
What is actually coming out from Bethesda that they showed?
I think
Like Fallout
is it.
is the only
'Cause
one.
I think Rage is next year.
Rage is next year. Doom might be this year, but they didn't show it. They decided to save it for QuakeCon.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and then like the Walmart leak, like kind of leaked a bunch of stuff except for where's my Splinter Cell 3, man? Now I'm like sad from like the stuff I didn't see. It's like that, the Avengers game,
know.
Borderlands. I'm like, still waiting. Black Panther.
So yeah, that's E3. Do you guys did you either of you see anything else or want to talk about anything else at E3?
After seeing gameplay from Control, looking good. Looking good.
I only went to E3 for one thing and I got it. So good.
Yeah, I'm like excited for Kingdom Hearts, but once again, it is that list thing where I was like, oh yes, Kingdom Hearts. I should go play all the other Kingdom Hearts games, and luckily I already have them. Multiple copies: PS2, PS3, PS4.
I was gonna say something I
Alright.
completely forgot. Ugh, curses.
I guess you'll probably think of it during the news.
It's like, oh yeah.
All right, let's do the brief news that we have today. Well, so there was the thing we were alluding to earlier was the is it the World Health Organization?
The Who?
The WHO? The WHO say that gaming addiction is a real illness now. They added it. As far as I could tell, it was because that one girl got admitted for Fortnite addiction, a 9-year-old,
Which isn't a thing, by the way.
and then so now they're like, oh, you can get addicted to video games. I was sitting in a restaurant today, and on the TV, the sound was off. I think it was The Talk on CBS, and they were talking about video game addiction as one of their segments. And I was like, really? It is started. It's like,
Yeah, and then they called it gaming disorder. It's like, couldn't they have come up with a better name?
yeah.
Gaming disorder? It's like,
They did this pretty hastily, so.
It's weird. Why did we bring it up earlier? I can't remember.
I don't either.
Because it's
Yeah.
fun.
I just like, for me, I can't imagine it, but it's hard to say, and I guess video games, like everything that happens in video games, is the first time it's happened in video games because video games have only been around for a few decades. So maybe, but I have, I guess, like no addictive tendencies, so
You're addicted to buying them.
I can't feel it. Not games though, just in general.
I mean, addiction's addiction. The first step is admitting it's optical.
We'll see.
Although, what did they even define what would classify you as addicted though? Because
I didn't really look into this. I saw it and I was like, okay,
I think
this
I
will
read an
be
article,
over
and
in a
it was
few
something about,
years.
like, 20 hours or something. It was stupid. It was like a time thing. It was okay. It was like it was two tiers. It was like a time thing, and then there was like the like you doing it and it like affecting your relationships as far as like your social relationships, your like job, like anything outside of your like or any like personal relationships you have with people and like how it like erodes them or something. And I was like, oh, okay, well I'm good because I'm fine because I do this all the time and no, she's there.
the first step is admitting it.
I have no problem. I can quit anytime I want, but I want to because I have
No, you
no
can't.
problem. No problem. I have no problem.
You're
Everything
addicted.
is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. It's like I have a
I mean-
job. I can. I have a place I live. I'm on my own. I take care of myself. It's great. It's like gaming has totally not affected any of this at all ever. I mean,
think
maybe
it
I've been
would
like
still
late a
probably
couple times. 'Cause I
classify-
was playing Destiny. Whatever. I didn't just like call in and be like, "Yeah, man, I'm not coming in because I'm so into this Trials of Osiris match." Whatever. So yeah.
It
Totally
definitely
not about
would
it.
not
Totally
be
not,
that.
Totally not gaming syndromed. So yeah.
You
Tekken
might
doesn't
be.
have it.
Denial. It's one of the signs.
I mean, there's totally been times on the podcast where it's like, you know, dudes, I totally just like marathon through like Arkham Asylum. It was amazing. So I could talk about it. Oh my gosh, or like Metal Solid 4 when that came out. Ooh man, that was like a one sitting marathon. I will never forget because whew, that was so good. And just like, you know, I went to like school or work or whatever the next day. I mean, I think it was work because I was like tired, but I did not go because I don't have gaming syndrome because I'm totally fine. Everything's fine. I could have been like, oh, I'm not coming in. Metal Gear Solid. Oh, so good. Oh, I'm so tired. And then like hung up the phone, but I didn't because Tekken's a responsible adult that does not have gaming syndrome. No matter what anybody tells you, I totally don't have it. Everything's fine. This is fine. If I did, I could totally stop anytime I want because I don't have that thing. So it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's not what this is sounding like at all. Like very strong denial there. It's like I definitely don't have this thing, guys. Definitely don't have this thing.
I mean, have you seen the amount of hours I put into Destiny? It's like thousands of them. Like, clearly, if I had like a problem, we would know by now, and I totally don't. So it's like everything's cool. Everything's fine.
That would I
This is
think
fine.
it actually qualifies.
I mean, I've gone outside to do the laundry and stuff, so that was outside, and like other stuff like check the mail and stuff. So it's like I know, you know.
You
And
know, when I
podcast
was
every week
playing,
with these two, so it's like I totally have like people that I have social contact with or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
gaming never gets in the way of the podcast. We just play during it.
Let me look up this article.
You guys are really making a bad case for us right now. Really making a bad case for this.
Everybody's like, I have no association with these two. Plausible deniability.
It was funny, like when I was playing Paragon like every day, it also overlapped some with our Destiny Tuesdays, and like having those two things, it was kind of like the most regular my schedules have been in a long time. Because after I had a kid, it was like my schedule was just like, well, I have no schedule. It's just like whatever happens, and then I have to like react to everything. But then during that, it was like, oh, I have a fairly regular day now. I play the game, then I make food, then I play the game, then I make food, then I take her to school, and then on Tuesdays I do, I play with other people, and then on Wednesdays we do the podcast. And I was like, yeah, like, this is the most regular my schedule has been in so long. It helped me. Gaming helped me.
Gaming saved me. It solved my problems.
Okay, I looked it up on the World Health Organization's website, and it says, "What is gaming disorder?" Gaming disorder is defined in the draft 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases (ICD-11) as a pattern of gaming behavior, digital gaming or video gaming, characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests and daily activities, and continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. For gaming disorder to be diagnosed, the behavior pattern must be of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning and would normally have been evident for at least 12 months. So yeah, like I said, I'm totally fine. I have all those things, and you know, I play all the time.
That whole description doesn't make sense. Like, there comes a point where, you know, if it's severe enough, that ends, like, it's a syndrome
abrupt.
that cures itself. Like, if it's severe enough, you need two things to play digital games, and it says it's only for digital games. It's not like you can be a board game junkie, which is what it sounds like. Like, if you're doing digital games, you need two things. You need, I guess you need one thing: electricity, and you need money to pay for that electricity. If it impairs your life that much, you don't have that, and then you're cured because you can't engage in your addiction. Yeah.
You're forced.
It's like, I'm out on the street.
It's like, I remember when I used to have a family.
Well, it says on the bottom, should all people who engage in gaming be concerned about developing gaming disorder? Studies suggest that gaming disorder affects only a small portion of people who engage in digital or video gaming activities. However, people who partake in gaming should be alert to the amount of time they spend on gaming activities, particularly when it is to the exclusion of other daily activities, as well as to any changes in their physical or psychological health and social functioning that could be attributed to their pattern of gaming behavior.
I mean, it affects my mental health when I play games regardless, because sometimes there's emotional games. I mean, it's just the way gaming works. But that doesn't mean I'm addicted to anything. It just means that I'm a human and I have feelings. So it's like, so it's like this is.
I feel like this just sounds like regular addiction.
It is. It really is. And they were just like, well, let's make it about gaming because we need a scapegoat for something. So because
Joe isn't in the news anymore.
It just
let's stir the pot a bit.
Like I said, this is like I said on Twitter when I did my whole thread thing. It's like this is just an excuse for poor parenting because it's like you can't like anytime someone gets addicted to something, it's because somebody wasn't there to basically interfere. So it's like, or if they were trying to interfere and the person just was just like F you and the horse you rode in on, I'm doing this anyway. So it's like it's one of those things like with this 9-year-old girl, where were her parents? Like you can't blame the game for that. Like my mom would never let me sit in front of a game for like 20 hours and then be like, you didn't go to school in the past week. Oh, well, guess it'll be okay eventually. So it's like, it's just a scapegoat kind of situation because this woman or man, whoever her parents were not like monitoring their child. They were like, well, it's all video games' fault because it can't possibly be our fault for not watching our child. So I just call BS on all of this. Just BS on all of this. So I just feel like people should, stop making excuses and parent like they're supposed to. So, yeah. Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting. Like, they should go and see. Well, I don't know how you do the trials, but it's just like the people who find the people who are diagnosed with this, and then see if they have addictive tendencies. And it's like, if it's addiction, like we already know it, addiction is a thing. Like, does this necessarily have to do anything with gaming, or is it just addiction to another thing? Like, people can be addicted to lots of things.
Yeah.
We don't have like a specific disorder for each one. We just call them whatever noun addiction.
So, like, hand out some drugs. See if they get hooked on that.
And again, I don't know
It's
how
like-
you would do this trial.
You would
These
take
people are broken. Let's try to break them.
Let's
in a
break them
different way.
more. I'm about to say, let's break them more.
And then we'll know that it wasn't gaming. Like, probably not worth it to, at least to them anyway.
I'm about to say,
It might be
I'm
worth
curious.
it to us. But,
I'm curious now, so I mean, it's like I'm okay with this.
this is the non-ethical trial that will happen.
Well, it was bound to happen eventually. It's all because of video games.
It is the darkest timeline.
All because of video games.
Give us the answers.
In the darkest timeline.
Dark answers.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so that's the thing that happened. Another like negative, bad news story is this thing about Fortnite accounts. Apparently, if you set up an Epic account and you ever used it on your PS4, for most people that means Fortnite. For a much smaller population of people, that means Paragon. Even then, you try to sign into that account on an Xbox or a Switch. It'll say, "Oh, your account is tied to a system that doesn't allow you to use it on the system, so you gotta start a new account." And people are like super upset about this, and they think it's the anti-crossplay position that Sony has taken because they're the market leader. And yeah, they're really upset. And it's funny because like this was a problem on the Xbox One too, except well, now we know that. I guess we always knew like Switch is far more popular than the Xbox One, and
So
chances
now it
are,
actually matters.
yeah, like you have a PS4 and a Switch, or you have an Xbox One and a Switch, and you probably don't have an Xbox One and a PS4.
Because why? Why would you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I think the big thing is like a lot of people want to play Fortnite wherever they are, and they want to do it on their Switch, and so they want to. It's like remote play, but with a Nintendo device. Weird. And yeah, like I guess the general sense is that people are unsatisfied with Sony's response, which has been to say, we have lots of users. We have built a really big user base, so you can play lots of online games on our system. And as you can see from that, it's basically like, oh, so they're not addressing it, and they're sort of boasting, I guess, about how well they've done.
They're basically like, get over it, guys.
Yeah, they're just like, why do you need to play it on Switch? Just play it on PS4. You clearly have a PS4. Play it on PS4.
Why would you do that to yourself? To play on such an inferior machine.
Yeah, like it's a weird thing. I think despite how normal and human their execs seem, the ones that we see on stage and stuff, Sony probably also has really executive types in their ranks, and for them, like, what would be the advantage of opening up your platform for crossplay as the sort of platform or the console like leader? Doesn't seem like there's a lot of benefit. Although maybe this perception thing is the thing that pushes them over. Because right now, like, and we, it's one of those vocal minority things. Like, you have no idea how many people are actually like really upset about this. But it's everywhere, and it seems to be. That makes it seem like a lot of people. And yeah, I guess as the market leader, like you sort of, I think Sony does have to look at themselves and be like, well, is our big player base like really that big of a draw, or do people buy PlayStations because we have the most amazing first-party games? And like, who cares if your crossplay is opened up to other platforms? I don't know. That's kind of how I see it now. It's like, you don't really lose anything at this point by opening it up. Yes, you kind of help out the other guys, but I don't think you're gonna lose like console sales or anything like that. because God of War, Detroit, Spider-Man's coming out. Like Spider-Man is gonna sell a lot of consoles, I think.
But is Spider-Man free, Tropical? This game is free. You don't even need to buy it. You just need the hardware.
Well, you do have to buy it on some level. There's only a certain mode that's free.
Yeah. Well, like so there was I forget his name, but it was like the former head of Sony Online Entertainment, now Daybreak, said like I guess he was there when this first started. People were first talking about this, not with Fortnite, but just like crossplay between Xbox in general. And yeah, there were execs there was like, no, it's about the money. We don't want people to be able to use things that they bought on PlayStation on other systems. I don't know.
You sound insane.
Is this perhaps the turning point where they do open it up? I'm not sure.
I think if there was more than one game, just because it's Fortnite and that's like the really big game right now, it's like, well, if there was like, more than one example that they could be like, oh, well, I can't play this, this, and this, and this. But it's like Fortnite, dude. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's what some people have written. They've basically been saying that if, they're not going to just do it for one game. If they let Fortnite do it, every game that has talked about it, Rocket League, Minecraft, like all of them are going to want cross-platform as well.
It's true.
But then also, like, this is a weird situation from my point of view, because, like, it wouldn't necessarily result in crossplay. Like, right now, the accounts are just being locked. So, to fix it, like, you wouldn't even have to be like, oh, now you can play with people on other platforms. You could just be like, well, it's not locked to our system. Just unlock the accounts, basically.
Oh, yeah, good point. But then how much is that PlayStation's controller Epic's?
I don't know. I don't think any people who are making a lot of noise really know what's going on. But yeah, it does seem like, because it only happens if you've played on PlayStation platforms, so it seems like probably a Sony thing. And in fact, like Epic, they write the error messages in their game, and their message, mentions, oh, the platform holder doesn't allow something, crossplay, whatever. It's like, so the Epic is saying that it's PlayStation. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I kind of hope that they don't wait for it to blow over and that they actually do something, but what that is, I have no idea.
See, I only think this would be an legit issue if I think the thing that's since it's tied to your Epic account, which is tied to your PS4, it's like you can't just buy another piece of hardware and then use that account to play Switch and Xbox One. So it's like, obviously, if that was the situation, they'd probably do something about it. But since that's not, it's like, well, it's whatever. So it's like, oh, well, look at that, your stuff is still knocked down the PlayStation. You can't just go. You have some easy workaround. Buying some other hardware. So.
I mean, it's not like you can't play on the other systems. It's just that you can't use the same account. So you have to open a new account, which is annoying, but not game breaking.
Yeah, it's not that you can't play. You just don't get to carry over your progress. So it's like,
yeah. Which is like, if you've never bought I guess the people who care the most have spent money or spent time and possibly money. Time and or money. And so those people would care, but then a regular, just a casual player, none of that stuff matters. You don't have anything as a casual player. You unlock very little stuff if you don't spend a lot of time or money. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Moving on. Today, PlayStation introduced PlayStation Hits.
Yeah.
The greatest hits line.
I've been asking for this for like, I'm not going to say years, but I'm going to say years on the podcast. I've just been pointed out. I've been asking for it. It's like, no greatest hit shots, no greatest hit shots, and now we got it, and I'm happy. So thank you, PlayStation.
He did keep asking about it. He really did.
But yeah, it's the greatest hits line for PS4. Again with the red boxes. And they're going to be $20 each.
Yeah.
Starting June 28th.
I believe it's cheaper than it was last year. Last year I think it was like 30, sometimes 20, not always 20.
Yeah, it was like 20 and 30s. And I forget how, like, which ones were which ones. Do I have any PS3 ones? Oh, I got Midnight Club as a PS3 one. But yeah, so starting June 28th, they're going to be, let's see, this is 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodborne, Drive Club, Infamous Second Son, Killzone Shadowfall, Little Big Planet 3, Ratchet and Clank, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 4, Doom, Cars, Project Cars, Street Fighter 5, Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remake of the first game, Yakuza 0, which is a prequel to that game, and Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, whatever the complete edition was called.
I think it's the essential experience or definitive experience. One of those two. And I think
it is too small in this image to see, but yeah, something like that.
And I think, with the exception of Doom, I think I'm right when I say this, but none of those games are on the Switch, so maybe go play your Battleborn and have fun with that. But $20 at Pop Games here on PS4, and they're all pretty good. Cause I own all of them except for Battlefield and the Yakuza games. So, and I think I have Doom. I haven't played it yet though, so just saying.
Oh, Doom is amazing. Yeah, I think Killzone, Shadowfall.
But if I don't have it, I will own it soon because $20.
Those are almost launch games. Or Infamous came out later. Killzone was a launch game. Infamous came later. Drive Club. Man, this is crazy. Like, the first party lineup is so good.
This is a really good lineup.
That
Last of Us
it's
and
like
Uncharted,
really
oh my gosh.
weird to see them at $20. It's like, these games shouldn't be $20. But no, that's Nintendo style. Nintendo style is always like, yep, the game is $60 forever until one day, arbitrarily, many years down the road, they're not. But yeah, everything here. Battlefield 4 was a launch game. So 2 launch games. Drive Club came later. Killzone came or maybe it was a launch game. I can't remember. Little Big Planet 3, Bloodborne.
I know Killzone was close to launch because I bought it when I got my PS4. But I didn't buy my PS4 at launch. It was I think a year after.
Maybe it was a launch game.
Whenever Destiny came out, so.
Doom is amazing. It's crazy to see Doom on here so soon.
I know.
Project Cars is pretty old at this point. Street Fighter 5 really should be free, I think. But $20 is cheap. Because you gotta grind so much for things in that. Like, it basically has a free-to-play model.
It's also weird because it's not the arcade edition. They could have been more gracious
with
that.
edition.
Thanks, Capcom.
Yakuza games are on here, $20 each.
Those I don't know if those just came out, but people revere Yakuza games now, which is awesome.
Yes.
It has earned its spot as at the top echelons of franchises people care about.
Yeah. Pretty good. And then Metal Gear Solid 5, that's oh, there it is. It's on the top. The definitive experience is what they called it. It's crazy. It's a crazy good lineup. And this is just the beginning because they always add more to these as time goes by.
Yeah, and it's awesome because it's both physical and digital, so I'm happy.
Woo!
I'm looking forward to that section in the store where I can just go in and be like, what's added to the PlayStation hits this month? Don't mind if I do.
This is a cool thing that we probably won't be part of, but it's the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championship has begun. I guess this is the thing where they're going to award trophies to the winners at an actual, like, real world racing event or something like that. But it takes place June through September, the season where anyone can join online. And then the regional and world finals will be in October and November. Yeah. It begins the real world Gran Turismo crossover that they talked about before the game came out. That was what I had down. Was there anything else that was interesting this week?
Since we're in con season, or game con season, I guess it's not officially game con season, whatever, I'm just gonna call it that since E3's passed. But, like, when is Gamescom?
That one is later, right?
Yeah.
That one's in
What's that in the, that's in the summer.
August?
Oh, August. Okay, well, I heard speculation that since Mortal Kombat 11 was like highly rumored or like supposed to be there, and like it wasn't, it might show up at Evo and like be unveiled there.
Oh wait, Evo's in August.
I thought it was in July.
Is that?
It's usually in July, I thought, but I guess it could be in August now. I'll look it up.
Looking at Gamescom here. The first one was in August.
I'm just hoping that, you know, Splinter Cell 3, part of the Walmart leak, most of that was accurate. But, you know, please be at Gamescom, Splinter Cell 3. Just saying.
Yeah, it says Gamescom is in 62 days. Why can't they just give me the date? Where is it?
Oh, you're right. EVO 2018 is August 3rd to August 5th, so it's August. Just out of July.
That was really weird. Do I have to hit?
And then after that, we have TGS, and then PlayStation Experience, and then showered with whatever's being cooked up in Sony first party, and be like, yay, added to the cinematic universe.
Gamescom is late August. August 21st, I think, to 25th. Or 26th.
Man, that's so ways away.
So it is always away.
Yeah, the next one is Comic-Con, I think. It's usually informally referred to as the E3 after party. Well, San Diego Comic-Con. Since there's so many now.
Tokyo Game Show isn't until September 19th.
Yep. San Diego Comic-Con is... why isn't the date just at the top
it's,
like the
July,
E3 one?
July 19th to July 22nd.
Okay, there we go.
Are you using Google Tropical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's why you use Yahoo search.
Showing on showing on mine at the top. Might be your browser. I don't know.
Weird.
So that's a month from now. Do they usually show like or unveil stuff there?
Occasionally, I know like Mortal Kombat had some stuff revealed, like character reveals there. Or no, was that Injustice? Probably Injustice.
It's happened. Yeah, because I've seen things. It depends on the type of game, though.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, I think it was either Street Fighter Cross Tekken or Street Fighter 4. They showed some stuff that one time, but it wasn't like the first time you saw it. I don't think. I think it's just like character stuff.
Yeah, Evo tends to have something.
Now the waiting. Back to waiting.
Yep. I wasn't drained by
Man,
E3
I really,
this
I
year.
really hope the Avengers game is like shown there because that was also just like a giant
Oh,
hole in
yeah.
my soul of like what the F Square Enix. Like, I was so hyped. I was like, man, they showed the CG trailer next year. That means it's been a year later. They have to have gameplay. They have to. They're gonna show it. They're gonna show it. And then like they had their thingy, and I was like, it wasn't in there. What the F, man? But then they have Spider-Man, so
Oh,
like, you know, I'm still happy, but still sad. So
What do you mean Square Enix?
I thought they were publishing that
The Marvel game. Yeah.
because it's the
It's Crystal Dynamics is making it.
Yeah.
So they're not. I guess that's why they're not making the next Tomb Raider.
I mean, in that regard, they only do like one major game a year from both those companies, so it's like they already did Kingdom Hearts and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so they weren't gonna like unveil something major like that already.
But the rumor was it was a games of service game RPG. It's a different genre.
Doesn't matter. Still not gonna do it. That's kind of how that company works.
Man, I guess that's gonna be weird too. Going back to like what we were talking about earlier, with like you have AAA story-based stuff and free-to-play battle royale stuff or PvP stuff. You have like a world where games of service games exist now, and they all exist alongside each other.
You know, I mean, it would be great if that can continue.
At least when it's done right. Not like Street Fighter 5, just like.
So I wonder what people are saying about like console sales now. You know, at the beginning of this generation, people were saying, "Oh my gosh, like consoles are not dead. They're like selling way more than we could have possibly imagined."
Yeah, it's weird because like the Ubisoft dude was like, or Yves Guillemot, CEO, founder, whatever, co-founder. That dude, he was like, you know, the next one's the last one. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, they broke all the records this time, so I think they're gonna keep on going if they're just making money. Like, I don't see why they would stop.
But we've gotten to this point now, and it's like, is it still? You know, some of the theories early on was that, oh, you know, the console audience has grown since the last generation, and that's why we're selling so many more consoles. But it doesn't, like, at this point, it seems like it's slowing, and there isn't like a lot more consoles out there than there were last generation.
You mean by like install base?
Yeah, so instead of like just having this bigger audience, maybe it's just that people bought earlier in the console generation than they did last generation, and
I
it's
mean,
still the same size.
The prices were not as bad. That's the thing, though.
That's true.
'Cause that's why PS4 is at 75 million already.
Yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, it's like the price and the demand, or not the demand, the supply. Like there were no supply issues across the board, so except for maybe Switch, but you know, they did outside.
They weren't even there at the
Yeah.
beginning.
I don't even think they had issues with their supply.
In Japan.
It was, well, they
Oh.
did, but it was like resolved way faster than
Yeah.
like with the
That was
the Wii was
that
like
was insane.
years.
The Wii was a mess.
It was.
Switch was like a year maybe. Like by the end of the year, they had the giant mountains of them on Black Friday.
Man,
And
that
Wii's were
Wii-
just like,
that Wii demand.
there's a
Yeah.
Wii on the
It
on
was
the
like
shelf.
it was like a
Murder everyone in my path.
it was an urban myth unto itself. It's like I saw one the other day in the water.
You would see people like, yeah, it's like ridiculous.
No.
It's like
No.
I heard Toys R Us got 2 in stock.
It was like always like no more than 5, and they like instantly be gone. It was like such a hot mess.
Because I would even be like in stores and like GameStop would getting constant calls. And they're like, no, we don't have the Wii in stock. No, we don't have the Wii
Yeah,
in stock.
dude. I remember like I actually saw one because I was like I went to GameStop to like get something, and like they had one, but I already had one, and like the guy was like on the phone with someone calling about it. He's like, yeah, I actually have one. It's been sitting here for like however many minutes, and surprisingly nobody's bought it. And I was like,
You should
wow,
have bought it out of spite. Be like, I'll take it.
Man, That was insane. The Wii time for so many reasons. Besides people breaking their houses and furniture and TVs
TVs
and bones.
and their bodies. I want to think.
The Wii cage.
Gosh, that was an interesting era in gaming. That's for sure.
Yeah, but what were you saying, Tropical, as far as like the numbers?
Yeah, I just wonder, what people are saying about that now. Because it hasn't continued at the same rate that it did in the beginning. And it like at this point anyway, it doesn't feel like the numbers would indicate that there's like a bigger audience now. It's just that it seems like people bought it earlier than they did last time.
Well, are you sure about that though? Like, I don't.
I think so. Like in the end, there was around 80 million PS3s and 80 million Xbox 360s, and right now there's like 79 million PS4s and like almost 40 million Xbox Ones. And I don't remember what we reached.
Was that like at the very end or just towards the end? Because we're not at the very end yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Because for whatever reason, Microsoft's like, yeah, we're working on next gen. It's like, why would they even say that? You just came up with Xbox X. That's just so crazy to me. It's like, I have no reason to invest in your current console because you're working on a new console. That is like, it's like, besides the whole, like, we're going to talk about the stuff that the studios we've acquired this E3 conference, it's like, oh, well, now that I hate you and I'm actively hostile towards your platform, I can just take a break from caring about your console altogether because you got a new one coming up. So I'll just wait until then because I guess it's going to be more powerful and awesome than your current powerful and awesome.
I think they just want to be out of this. As I said, I think they want to be out of this generation.
Oh, that's so weird.
They want to start the new generation and launch earlier than the other ones and just like beat them that way.
Well, that's not how that works.
I mean, I guess necessarily they could do that if like all their backwards compatibility stuff is like the same, and then they just have like more powerful stuff.
Yeah, like if it comes out and it's like, oh, like Cyberpunk is going to be best on ours because it's a next gen console.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people will be like, I need to get that next gen console.
Yeah, but then there's the price issue, and then like the whole like I already have hardware that runs this isn't really that much better.
Yes.
Because it's like Xbox One X does 4K HDR, so it's like how would you compel someone to be like, okay, well, what does it do? That's so much better.
Well, yeah, it would have to be a generational leap, but
And, like,
still.
that is kind of like where like that is at like the bleeding edge. It's like 4K HDR. It's like, how do you do better than that in your next console? Microsoft, you gone crazy. Guess we'll find out what their last stand plan is. Eventually. Maybe it'll be HoloLens and VR and some Switch-like device to be like, alright, we've got a suite of Xbox Ones, and we're going to call it the Xbox One or Xbox 5, because there's 5 thingies that combine into a Voltron mech VR suit. This is where you tag in.
Nah, I've seen animes about AR now, so can't even do that. Can't even do that. We warned ourselves.
Oh, I guess one more news story then, and then we'll wrap. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is coming out September 25th in North America.
Yay!
Wow,
And Europe.
September. Wow. 3 games in September for me.
I thought it was supposed to be October. That's even better now. Yay! I have a reason to live.
Well, I guess with so many games coming out in October, at least there'll be probably some sweet Black Friday deals, so... In February. Oi. Alright, so that's it for episode 398, I think. Whatever, if I'm wrong. Check us out. Aimless Babble Z, aimlesspodcast.com, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever else on the internet we're at. Anything to say before we sign off, RPG?
Kingdom Hearts.
Anything to say before we sign off, Tropical? How on a scale of like how happy are you, RPG? It's finally happening. I mean, you have to wait until January, but still, it's like, you know, it's within sight and reach.
I'm very happy.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, everyone should be happy because that means you guys have at least until next year to live. So, I told you, my willpower is the only thing keeping us alive, guys. So, you know, you have until March of next year. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Anything to say before you sign out, Tropical?
Yay! A little bit more time to live.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. E3 is in the books for 2018. So many games to get hyped about. Cannot wait. Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. Spider-Man is this year. Effing Last of Us 2. Oh my gosh. Like the Legendary 5. I'll just call them that because they focused on 4, but there's like a 5th game that I'm probably not. What was it? 4 or 5? It was 5, right?
Yeah. No, it was 4 games they focused on.
So the Legendary 4 came through. Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, and what's the other one?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. Looking forward to it. Glad to have sweet first-party story-based games to look forward to. And not big physique, but wait, there's multiplayer happening anymore. It's great. So yeah, until you hear from us again, what do you do if a walker bites me? And we're now signing off.